break. You can't say the color black without walking on eggshells.
I say hold up, cock my glizzy, bang bang. I say hold up, cock my glizzy, bang bang.
You're tuned into Foolery. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And consider donating with super chats, stickers, memberships, or you can even gift memberships to other chatters. Or use the tips link in the description to write a message for TTS that will be read on stream.
Hit the like button, or you ain't black. And that's a fact. Jack.
Enjoy the show.
Ooh, what's up, fools? Today is 2/21/2026. It is 11 p.m. Eastern Time. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? We took yesterday off. I was invited to go do a panel show, and so I wanted to take a nap. I hadn't gotten much sleep, but I was invited to go do a panel show. So when I got invited, I was like, okay, well, I got to stay up then. I can't take a nap. So they invited me. They said, do you want to do the show? I was like, yeah, sure. Tell me what time and what the topic is. And then they just didn't get back to me. So after a while, I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to sleep, taking a nap. And I ended up sleeping for way too long. So you wait until Jola is done streaming? Shut the fuck up. Tell Jola that I'm late. And if he's still on, he is encroaching into my territory, and me and my goons will not let this lie. All right. My food did just get here, so I'm gonna grab my food real quick, but I will pull up something. Oh, I didn't line up my screen up yet. Perfect. Let's go.
Elon Musk is an election criminal and he should go to prison. That should not be a controversial statement. That is just fact. And what else is fact is that Elon Musk is everything Republicans claim to hate, but of course they embrace him with open arms. Elon Musk cheats at elections. Elon Musk rips off the government. Elon Musk is an illegal immigrant who is stealing jobs from you and I. That is what Doge was. So I think Republicans who are talking nonstop about election fraud, but specifically election fraud, of course that doesn't exist except for the Elon crimes that we're about to get into in Georgia, specifically in Georgia. And that is where we have to start before we get into this breaking story of how Elon has not only exposed his own election crimes, but of course implicated his good buddy Donald as he is preparing to get back into electoral Republican politics. And I think as we are all talking about how Republicans are trying to steal the midterms, this story couldn't be more important. But of course it starts with what Chris Hayes described as the coup crew that Donald Trump is putting back together. It's where I want to begin before we get into the breaking Elon news.
Why are all the usual suspects from the 2020 attempted coup back in Trump's orbit now? Maybe to give it another run, to try to rig future elections in the name of the 2020 election. I mean, just yesterday, Donald Trump was complaining about winning more states in 2020 on the podcast of his former FBI number 2, Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino, who hated his job, apparently actually doing like government work and now wants to go back to podcasting. Trump adding, quote, "We should take over the voting. The voting in 50."
It's so embarrassing, dude. So fucking embarrassing. Dan Bongino, the guy who makes his entire podcast career about being an FBI agent and like, you know, just the whole thing is about like his inside information on being in the FBI and like understanding all of this and blah blah blah, and then he gets and loving Donald Trump, how much he loves Donald Trump and how great Donald Trump is, and then he gets a chance to do it and fucking leaves the job. So embarrassing, bro.
15 places, the Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. Now, that, of course, is illegal. It's a violation of all sorts of state federal statutes and constitutional principles of federalism. But today, of course, Trump just doubled down.
What exactly did you mean when you said that you should nationalize elections? And which 15 states are you talking about?
I want to see elections be honest. And if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, you know, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government.
The state is not the state is not there for the federal government in any form whatsoever. Okay, like the federal government is an agent of the states. The federal government is an agent of the states. The states are not an agent of the federal government. It's so fucking stupid.
The government doesn't do them anyway. But when you see some of these states about how horribly they run their elections, what a disgrace it is, I think the federal government, when you see crooked elections, and we had plenty of them, and by the way, we had them last time, but go to 2020 and look at the facts that are coming out. Rigged, crooked elections. If we have areas, take a look at Detroit, take a look at Pennsylvania, take a look at Philadelphia.
What up, Pepe?
You go take a look at Atlanta. Look at some of the places that horrible corruption on elections. And the federal government should not allow that. The federal government should get involved. These are agents of the federal government to count the votes. If they can't count the votes legally and honestly, then somebody else should take over.
Now, keep in mind, I mean, these are all lies, right? And this is a guy who has said he thinks he won California multiple times. I mean, it's like meeting someone and them telling you like they can fly like Superman, or me just like telling you like, oh yeah, I'm 7 feet 4 inches. Like, what do you do with that? That's a person who is, I don't know, diagnosable in some way, something, right? This is the guy who told Georgia's election supervisor to find him.
Well, this is one of the more frustrating things about Donald Trump is that even his own like constituents can't deny that he's a fucking raging liar, that he just lies incessantly. And you'll either have people who just like deny all reality and just accept anything and everything that Donald Trump ever says, like that he won the 2020 election, right? And they'll defend him. Oh, he definitely won the 2020 election. But then there's the other people, the majority of Republicans, who will say, I don't think you won the election, man, but it's Donald Trump, right? Like he's not capable of admitting it. Like that's just That's just part of who he is. It's like, why would you vote for somebody that you're admitting is that fucking delusional? Like that. And a lot of times they'll say, it's just part of being like, you know, somebody who's capable of being president. Like they just have to have like this mindset that they can't ever lose and that they're great. And like, that's just part of what it takes. Okay. Why didn't Joe Biden do that? Why didn't Hillary Clinton do that? Why didn't Kamala Harris do that? Why didn't any of the other presidential nominees throughout my lifetime ever do this? Why didn't that ever happen where any of them acted in this way or were this were coping this hard? Other people took stuff to court. Other people tried fighting. Other people tried seeing if they could you know, make a case that the election was stolen from them. But they didn't continue on that shit as long as he did. Nobody has continued on it as long as he did. Kamala Harris conceded the election the very same day. Hillary Clinton conceded the election the very same day. And Donald Trump, here we are. What are we, 5 years later? Still can't admit that he lost the election? Like, why would you vote for somebody like that? Why would you vote for somebody that is that delusional? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I will never understand this shit. I will never understand people who sit here and like consistently talk about how they know better than Trump and that like Trump just doesn't understand X, Y, and Z. If you, the fucking country bumpkin calling into my show, you understand this better than Donald Trump, he probably shouldn't be the president then. You know, maybe.
11,000 votes. He's worried about the states counting their votes. You can see why, right? Because they counted them accurately. So last week, Republicans unveiled a Make Elections Great Again bill to put new limits on voting by mail and voter registration drives, as well as mandate voter ID issued by the federal government, as well as new voter surveillance programs. Who's going to stop it? Well, definitely not the Speaker of the House, a guy who voted against certifying the 2020 election, who is an election denier, and got back to his election truther roots on Capitol Hill today.
I hate to sound like Donald Trump when I say this, and I feel like it is almost a direct quote, but he cannot win unless he cheats. That is what the polling is proving out right now. That is what the broad sentiment is showing, and if you are tracking any election, any special election that has happened since Donald Trump became president, the midterms are going to be a wipeout. Now,
yeah, if you guys truly, in the Republican echo chamber, I understand that a lot of people, they don't know. Like, and truly, they have no idea what's going on right now. I see this on Twitter. I see this in YouTube. I see this all over the place. Conservatives are so stuck in their own echo chambers right now. They don't know that Democrats have just been slaughtering them in every election across the fucking board since Donald Trump came into office. Ever since their fucking red wave, the American people have not gotten what they wanted out of that election. The people who voted for Trump are heavily dissatisfied, and outside of Republicans are giving Donald Trump like an 86% approval rating. But they're like 26% of the country, whereas when you consider like the liberals plus the independents are the largest portion of the country. They have the plurality within the country. And that Donald Trump across the country has like a 33% approval rating, which is like the lowest in history. So yes, the Democrats have been overperforming and have won in flipped seats all across the country. It has been like almost like a godsend. Like, thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, American people, for electing Donald Trump. This has made the future pretty concrete for the rest of us. This has made things easy for us, because you could have elected like DeSantis or something like that, and it might have been a bit harder. But you elected Donald Trump, who is just the most blatant fucking con man of all time, and Americans with brains, Americans who are sapiens, they've rejected this administration.
I don't know if we will win every single seat in the Senate that we are looking to. We have to fight in Alaska, in Texas, in Ohio, in Maine, in Georgia. Yes. But when we are talking about flipping the House of Representatives, at this point, I think Mike Johnson's majority is...
Well, that is somebody said, well, he's the president, so we're going to make the best of it. Making the best of it is flipping the House of Representatives. But, like, making the best of it is making it to where there are more Democrats in the House than there are Republicans, to where we're able to slow down the amount of crap that Trump and his sycophants are able to get through. That is making the best of it.
All but done even before we get to the midterm. So yes, Donald Trump knows and is trying to interfere with our elections, which is important considering Elon Musk already did, not just in the checks that he handed out, but what he sent in his criminal campaign to get his buddy elected president and make him even more billions. Turns out there was voter fraud in Georgia by Elon Musk, the New Republic reports. The State Board of Elections found Musk's PAC sent pre-filled ballot applications. If Donald Trump's administration really wants to find evidence of foreign interference in Georgia's elections, then they need to look no further than the president's old friend Elon Musk and his shady super PAC. Members of the Georgia State Elections Board voted Wednesday to issue a formal letter of reprimand to Musk's America PAC over the billionaire technocrat's illegal scheme to get Donald Trump elected. Georgia, a key battleground state in 2024, was the target of aggressive campaigning by Trump's team. In October 2024, the Georgia Secretary of State's office launched an investigation after receiving numerous reports from residents across several counties saying they'd received partially pre-filled absentee ballot application from Musk's America PAC, according to John Furvier, the state elections board chairman. There has been evidence to suggest America PAC had violated a state law that prohibits any person or entity other than an authorized relative to send an elector an absentee ballot application pre-filled with the elector's required information, according to Janice Johnston, the SEB's vice chairman.
This is funny because MAGA, after I think it was Project Veritas who put out a video saying that there were a bunch of people who were sending tons of absentee ballots in at once, and that this was so illegal, they committed voter fraud, blah, blah, blah. And every time it would turn out that the state that they were talking about that had supposedly sent in tons of absentee ballots, this state allowed them. It was legal in that state. It wasn't illegal. They were allowed to do it in the state. Every fucking time they all freaked out about it. But in Georgia, it's not legal in Georgia. And that's where Elon Musk did it. And yeah, nobody will care. Nobody in MAGA will care that he did the same exact thing that they've all been screaming and yelling about for the last 5 years. But it's kind of ironic that the one time we finally find somebody who did it, it's somebody on their side for the 2024 election.
America PAC had also failed to display in a conspicuous location that this was not an official government publication, was not provided by the government, and was not a ballot, Johnston added. The board swiftly voted to issue a letter of reprimand to America PAC. This letter comes weeks after Donald Trump suggested that his director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was spotting lurking around a federal raid at the election office in Fulton County, Georgia, because the investigation that she was looking into was related to foreign interference in elections. It should come as no surprise that the only evidence of meddling with people's votes came from Trump's own camp. The same thing happened in the 2020 election, too. So Elon Musk, an illegal immigrant who has stolen and gotten rid of jobs in America, was committing election fraud. Now, if I said any other name besides Elon Musk would be retweeting and sharing this video. Do we understand that? If this story was about anyone not named Elon Musk, right now, Elon Musk would be sharing this. But he is not. I also find it fairly significant that Donald Trump was carrying out this operation, I'm sure in other states, but specifically in Georgia. Georgia so clearly holds a little soft spot in Donald Trump's heart because he was so embarrassed by losing it to Joe Biden because it was a state that had not been blue in so long. Donald Trump, I think, is still...
That's where I'm at. I live here in Georgia. It's been a long go of it since the Attorney General wasn't able to find 11,000 votes for Donald Trump.
Specifically hurt by losing it. It is why he talks about Georgia. It's why he raided of course, that election facility in Georgia. And I also just think it's because Donald Trump believes he will have an easier time suppressing the vote of black and brown people. Why he has targeted Atlanta, why he has targeted Fulton County, why he has targeted Georgia. But Elon, look, let's be clear, should be prosecuted. The next Democratic president needs to prosecute and deport Elon Musk. They need to freeze his assets. They need to nationalize his companies. I'm being so real right now. This is what I expect from the next Democratic president and nothing else. This isn't political. This is just what should happen if we want to rebuild our country from the mess that Donald Trump has left us with. That is the only option. He ran a crime syndicate in his campaign and in his administration. It is happening now. He and everyone else should be prosecuted. That is the bare minimum expectation that I have for any Democrat who wants to run for president or lead this party. Prosecute Elon Musk. And prosecute all of them. Because as Lawrence O'Donnell broke down in a great report, the crime, it is rampant.
The New York Daily News says, quote, "It is time to acknowledge what has become tragically obvious. The Trump administration is essentially acting as a massive criminal enterprise. It lies, steals, extorts, and murders, all while cloaked in the awesome authority of the state. It is on a crime spree that puts Al Capone to shame. This administration has murdered Rene Good and Alex Preddy, slandered them as domestic terrorists and assassins, and allowed their killers to walk free. Unleashed thousands."
And we're going to get to the tariffs in a little bit as well. Just know that this is not the only thing that we're going to be going over that is like a criminal scheme from the Trump administration. This is just one among many things that have come out within the last week. And there are literally probably maybe a dozen crimes that have come out just in the last week. Just in the last week or two, maybe a dozen crimes from the Trump administration. And that's, again, just in a couple weeks. If you consider the entire year that Trump has been in office, it is way more than that. But there's a bunch more crimes that we're going to be getting to here shortly as well.
Thousands of minimally trained ICE agents recruited with explicitly white supremacist messaging to inflict terror on people of color repeatedly violated the constitutional rights of citizens and non-citizens by arresting them for First Amendment protected speech, raiding their homes without judicial warrants and imprisoning them without due process, and killed dozens of civilians on the high seas solely on the unsubstantiated claim that they were drug runners, not that being drug runners would justify their summary executions without due process anyway. Released hundreds of imprisoned felons who brutally beat Capitol Police officers on January 6th, converted the once independent Department of Justice into an instrument of personal retribution via the prosecution of cooked-up lawsuits against the president's enemies, threatened to seize the territory of a sovereign nation, a NATO ally no less, and declared that legislators should be executed for reminding military personnel of their duty to disobey illegal orders. It is difficult to comprehend the level of state-sponsored criminality we are witnessing because our country has never experienced anything like it. And the Daily News did not even include in its description of the most powerful crime syndicate in history all of Donald Trump's violations of the Emoluments Clause to enrich himself, including accepting the gift of a 747 aircraft from the Middle Eastern dictatorship of Qatar. And the billions of dollars Donald Trump is making in cryptocurrency ventures and other rackets that he is running during his presidency. Donald Trump knows that all of that apparent corruption could be effectively investigated by congressional committees if and only if Democrats win the House of Representatives this year or win the Senate this year. And to prevent that, Donald Trump has not come up with a new campaign message for Republicans. He has not come up with a new economic policy. He has not reversed his economically crushing illegal and unconstitutional tariffs. Instead, he has seized the voting records of Atlanta voters in Fulton County, Georgia, to set the precedent that he can send the FBI anywhere he wants to seize any voting records, including ballots, at any time. Donald Trump is the first president in history who wants to take the administration of elections away from states and, in effect, count all American ballots cast in every election inside the Trump White House.
These people are criminals. This isn't political persecution. It's not going to be a witch hunt. What we need to rebuild is to not sing Kumbaya and move on and restore the soul of the nation and forget about it and not say Donald Trump's name or Pam Bondi's name or Kash Patel's name. It is not to say, well, maybe Elon should join the Democratic Party and let's take his donations. No, we're not doing that again. It's not going to work. There needs to be real retribution, accountability, and an example made of those who have hurt our country. I know that's a little scary sounding, but that's the only thing that we can do.
He's not wrong either. we've talked about this a bunch over the last week or two on this channel. In the Biden administration, the idea was we want to return to normalcy. We want to just erase the last 4 years that were Donald Trump and push the country forward. We just want to move forward. We want to make sure that we're able to reinstall our norms and make it to where we go back to being the country that we're supposed to be. And throughout the majority of that, like, the idea was we don't want things to look political. We don't want there to seem a bias where when it comes to prosecuting Trump and his administration, we're going to leave a lot of this alone for a while and make sure that this is not the highest priority. And we're going to, you know, just get back to being Americans first, and then maybe we'll worry about this other stuff. And when it came to prosecuting Trump, they only went after him for a small amount of things. Because they waited, he ended up getting away with a lot of stuff. Once he won the presidency, they weren't able to continue moving forward with prosecutions. A lot of his co-conspirators were able to get off and were able to get either lenient deals or were never charged in the first place. And then Donald Trump got right back in office and went ahead and did all the same shit times 1,000. 1,000 times worse this time. They went full steam ahead, just way worse than they were in the first administration. So this next time, when Dems inevitably win again, we are not making that fucking mistake. That will not happen again. Coming back into the presidency, Democrats have to prosecute Donald Trump, prosecute his administration, prosecute the people who helped with the fraud, prosecute anybody who was associated with it, who knew about it, who stood by, who helped with it, everything across the board. They have to do it this time. They have to do it this time. It cannot be just another message that if you do something like this, you'll get away with it because we don't want to seem politically biased. It cannot be that again. It can't be that again. It has to be, if you do shit like this, if you become this corrupt and this brazen with your corruption, you will be held accountable. And there will be consequences. That has to be the message moving forward, because obviously what we tried last time with being fair, being unbiased, being, being more concerned with American values and America's history, and that didn't work. That didn't work. I applaud Biden and his administration for what they did, and that they tried, and I think they tried the right thing. I think they did what was right at the time. But yeah, going into this next one, that cannot be the case. He is correct. There has to be some retribution there.
And anyone not advocating for that doesn't actually care and thinks it's a game. It's not a game. This needs to be taken seriously. We're going to be calling it out. Man, that was intense. But it is intense. It matters on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.
All right. Philip DeFranco is left-wing propaganda. Why? What did Philip DeFranco say that you think is wrong? What did he get wrong? Did you guys see this? Les Wexner had a deposition recently, and it was released, and in the deposition, his lawyer leans over and says into his ear, "If you answer another question with more than 5 words, I'm going to kill you. You guys see that? Yeah, this is a nothing burger, right? Yeah, it seems to be a joke. Like, Les doesn't seem scared afterwards. He laughs, and then even after he answers the next question, in less than 2 sentences, he turns and it's like, "Yeah, you got it. All right, good, good, good." And, like, his lawyer's laughing and smiling. But it seems as though they have like a friendly relationship, and that this is not like a real death threat or anything. But it's funny. It's fucking funny, but like.
Is that connected to? Oh. 3 or 4 days a month, certainly a week or a day a month, just focusing on these things because there were accountants and tax lawyers and other people. And then in setting up, as an example, I didn't have the idea to inventory furniture or valuables. And it's like, how could you have all silverware in your house? And I didn't count forks and spoons. And it's like, Jeff said people could be walking out with forks and spoons. I said, gee, that's a good idea. We ought to have an inventory. But then there was I hired a lady to be like the house manager who had run the U.S. Embassy in Rome.
Oh my goodness. He is talking too much. Holy shit. Yes, he is yapping, bro. Oh crap.
I know how to do this. And I said, well, why don't we keep inventories of stuff? And she said, well, yeah, I could do that. So she did that as kind of a puny example, but I wouldn't have had the.
He claims he's not biased, but he spouts left propaganda. Wait, what does he say that you think he's wrong on? What is the propaganda? Like, when you say propaganda, I assume you mean he says things that are wrong, that are just pushing an agenda from the left. He's not actually giving true information. What information does he give that you think is wrong? What is he saying that you think is biased or propaganda?
The idea, but then all the things were inventoried. That wasn't work for me or Jeffrey. It was just regularly done.
I don't know if you guys were able to hear that. Let me see if I can.
Answer the question.
Okay.
A discrete question on a different topic. We know.
Yeah, I think he said, I'm going to fucking kill you if you answer with more than 5 words, okay? So yeah. Doesn't seem, it's not a big deal, but it's funny. 1, that he says it. 2, it's funny that the mic actually picked him up to where we can hear what he said. I'm sure that was not intentional and happened anyways, so kind of funny.
It's a Democratic hoax, folks. Have you even seen the Dow? People want to talk about this Jeffrey, and he dead now anyhow. They're saying the 401k is slaying. Okay, then none of us even have them. Enjoy the last dregs of a nation, while the future's been abandoned as the S&P 500 erased. I'm sure the Nasdaq's just fantastic. I'm gonna need a bag for all this bullshit. Give me paper, give me plastic. The rules are elastic. Oh, what they're having while they're wreaking havoc. A Floridian lobotomy. Hey, Marco, Susie, Walls, Dr. Oz, and Pat Bondi. No one has each other's backs like the parasitic class. You gotta admire the fire, the passion they have to cover each other's ass. Closer and closer to non-disclosure, disclosure. The law is just a fence for the elite to jump over. No one said that life was fair. But does it have to be this evil, diabolical, illogical? It'll leave you feeling feeble. It ain't 5-dimensional check. It's a Democrat.
All right, hold on. The election fraud that the leftists on TikTok and everybody have been claiming for the last year has been bullshit. I still stand by that. That has all been fucking bullshit. There's actually evidence of some fraud that is existing, but it is not what it is that all the fucking leftists have been claiming this entire time. It has not been that, okay? That is still fake. That is still bullshit. That is still fake news. That all of these people claiming that Kamala Harris won is fucking bullshit. Okay? It is wrong. It is a lie. Kamala Harris did not win the election. She didn't. Bro, I'll send you some videos. No, don't send me fucking videos. I've gone through all of the fucking bullshit that they said. Listen, do you know, just so you know, okay? How about this? You send me a claim that MAGA didn't make as well. Send me a claim that MAGA didn't make as well, because MAGA made all the same fucking claims. One of the major ones that the left has been pushing is that there are, yes, the anomalies. Yes, the fucking anomalies. Guys, there's this one place in this one state where the entire fucking town voted for Trump. There's no way. There's no way. There's numerous of these. They're popping up all over. The whole fucking 100% of the town voted for Trump. Yeah, that's impossible. It's impossible. There's no way. Wait, okay, so how many people voted in that town? Only a couple hundred people. Okay, so that is actually totally possible. One. Two, that literally happened in 2020, where there were entire towns that only voted for Biden. Three, even if that was the case, there wouldn't be any evidence that Kamala Harris won the fucking election. It wouldn't be any evidence whatsoever. None. No, what? Would not be evidence. Well, you want to talk about anomalies? An anomaly, like, so one of the biggest anomalies is that Biden, when all of the election stations, the polling stations were supposedly closed down after midnight, all of a sudden, polling stations stayed open and Biden just got almost all the fucking votes. Wow, what? It's an anomaly. Guys, there's no way this is real. This is, they stole the fucking election. Look, you can see Trump's neck and neck with Biden. And then all of a sudden, Biden just shoots up. Just look at the fucking anomalies, dude. Oh my goodness. It's bullshit. That's not a claim. That's not a claim of interference. That's not a claim of election fraud. That's not a claim. That's not what it is. Sorry. You're making the same exact claims that that MAGA made. I've been debating MAGA on election fraud ever since it happened, and you guys are making all the same fucking claims across the fucking board. Like, what, at this one polling station, they were trying to intimidate liberals and not trying to make it to where they wouldn't go in, and it's weird that Donald Trump happened to actually win at that same place by a lot. You're the same fucking claims, bro. This is literally what MAGA said. You guys are MAGA. This is why we say you guys are MAGA, is because you guys are MAGA. We got big news, guys. We're gonna go through some news stuff here. We got a lot more to get into, so just stick around. We're gonna go over some of the stuff that I missed yesterday as well.
Some lunatics. Can I ask you something? Yes. You platformed a guy, you had him on your show, Tony.
How can both have mail-in voting help the same way? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? How can both have mail-in voting help the same way? Both sides, both freaking sides. I don't know what that means. Literally, you're not adding any more context. I understand. You mean both sides. I don't know what that means. Help both the same way. What does that mean? Help both the same way. They're saying the claim isn't the same. E.g. the mail-in ballots. I don't understand what that means. That doesn't mean any. I don't understand what that means. I'm sorry. I have no idea what that means. Like, I'm racking my brain on even like options to give to say like, so do you mean this or this or this? I have zero. zero thoughts on what this could possibly mean. Did leftists say the mail-in voting was rigged? Did they? I don't think so. We didn't have mail-in voting at the same rate. So it wouldn't apply. The argument that MAGA made was that we had mail-in voting at historic rates, that more mail-in ballots than ever before, and that this seemed to be part of a scheme. We didn't have that in 2024. We did not have historic amounts of mail-in ballots because we didn't have COVID. Then they aren't the same claims across the board. No, hold on. I'm not saying every single claim that MAGA made, the leftists are making. I'm saying every single claim that the leftists are making, MAGA made. The other way around. You can find claims that MAGA made that the leftists aren't making. You can't find claims that leftists are making that MAGA didn't make.
Aguilar.
Don't platform anyone.
Well, you interviewed.
Not a liberal,
Tony
so I don't
Aguilar.
platform people.
Okay, you interviewed Tony Aguilar, who claimed that IDF soldiers killed a little boy in his presence. That didn't happen.
Okay.
It did not happen.
I don't know.
Let me give you the story.
if you know whether it happened or not.
Well, I can tell you why I know it didn't happen.
Okay.
Because we found that little boy less.
Kamala was never in the race. Dead lost after skipping prelims. What are you talking about? That's not true at all. Do you know how much she lost? Do you know, Peruvian, do you know how much Kamala lost the election by? Do you know how much she lost the electoral the electoral college? How much did she lose electoral college by? How many votes? 200,000. Yeah, 200,000 votes. 200,000 votes. 200,000. 2 million? No. No, that's the popular vote. Popular vote is not electoral college. Electoral college, she lost by 200,000. Even 2 million is slim margins. Even 2 million is slim margins for a popular vote. But the like Kamala Harris, or sorry, Hillary Clinton beat Trump by more than 2 million when Trump won in 2016, right? Hillary Clinton beat Trump in the popular vote by 3 million votes and still lost the election. Kamala Harris only lost by 2 million in the popular vote, but in the electoral college, Kamala Harris lost by 230,000 votes. No, Hillary lost. Hillary lost the election in electoral college, not the popular vote. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Do you not understand? Do you not know how our election system works? A popular vote is not how our election system works. We do not run on popular vote. We run on electoral college. Electoral college. Hillary Clinton had more votes than Donald Trump. She won the popular vote. She lost the electoral college. So if you thought that Kamala Harris was never in the race, you did not follow that election. I'm sorry, you did not follow that election. Not only was this an insanely close race, but if the election had been held 2 weeks earlier, Kamala would have fucking swept. Kamala would have fucking swept. It would have been a fucking sweep. But it wasn't held 2 weeks earlier. She lost. But to say that she was never in it, well, she was in it 2 weeks earlier, enough to where she probably would have won. But yeah, that like you're just fundamentally incorrect across the board. Not only do you not know that Kamala Harris was in it, but you don't know that our system runs on electoral college, not popular votes. So, Tom, do you think Trump's assassination attempts gave him a boost? Yeah, to an extent, yeah. I think he was able to use it and propagandize it to it in a way that was really beneficial for him. And there wasn't like this left-wing counter narrative that was really pushing back against that as much. So where Donald Trump comes out and starts saying they tried to kill me, the Democrats tried to kill me, a lot of people believe that. They thought it was the Democrats who were trying to kill him. They thought it was Democrats who were trying to murder him. And it was yeah, he was able to just run with fucking bullshit narratives and repeat it over and over. That was gonna be helpful to him. She only got votes because vote blue no matter who. Biden ducked her over by shoving her forward. I'm sorry. Do you think anything you're saying is relevant to what we're talking about at all? At all? Whether or not she was ever viable in that election? That is the question right now. You said she was never actually in the race, and you're just objectively wrong. But even if you think, oh, well, there were other things that were problematic, blah, 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 that has nothing to do with whether or not she was ever in the race. She was winning in the polls by a lot at certain points, like by a lot at certain points.
Can I ask you something? Yes. You platformed a guy. You had him on your show, Tony Aguilar.
Don't platform anyone.
Well, you interviewed.
Not a liberal,
Tony
so I don't
Aguilar.
platform people.
Okay, you interviewed Tony Aguilar, who claimed that IDF soldiers killed a little boy in his presence. That didn't happen.
Okay.
It did not happen.
I don't know. I don't know if you know whether it happened or not.
Well, I can tell you why I know it didn't happen.
Okay.
Because we found that little boy less than a week later.
All right.
I was involved, heavily involved, in helping to extricate him from Gaza. 4 different countries were involved in getting he and his mother to safety, get them out of there. Tony Aguilar is a liar.
Okay.
Tony Aguilar claimed that he saw an IDF soldier shoot the little boy. He was fired from the GHF for cause, and he begged for his job back, and they wouldn't give it back because they didn't want him. And he told them that if they didn't give his job back, that he would burn them down.
Okay.
So he goes out. No, let me finish this because it's important for you to understand.
Right.
So this guy then goes out and makes up this story that he witnessed IDF soldiers shooting a little boy.
I don't know that he made it up. He seemed to believe it to me. It's possible he's wrong. I've been wrong many times.
Well, this is a little bit more than just missing a fact. He claimed to be an eyewitness to the murder of a little boy.
Yeah, you can't just be wrong about that. If he says that he watched somebody shoot a little boy in the fucking head, and then it turns out that that little boy's been alive this entire time and is at home, no problemo. That's pretty fucked up. Like you don't just happen to be wrong about that. You didn't just happen to be wrong. You didn't just get some small things here and there incorrect that led you to the wrong conclusion. You didn't just have a couple of the facts wrong. Your entire conclusion is based off of fucking bullshit that you made up. There's no way. You just claimed the kid was alive. Him, yes. He claimed that the kid is alive at home with his family. Doesn't mean that's what happened. Sure. So one person makes a claim that there is no evidence for there's somebody that like we have no no reason to believe, no reason to disbelieve, but like they're just making a claim that they witnessed something, right? The authority on that scenario now makes a statement. If the authority on this makes the statement, and other witnesses come forward saying, no, Huckabee's wrong, that's incorrect, then fine. Then we would have reason to doubt, right? But if we just have one person who says this, and he's making this claim in public, right? He's not making this claim behind the scenes to where, like, he's just saying things and nobody really knows. Like, in the scenario with Kristi Noem comes out and says that Alex Preddy walked up to them with a gun, you know, and he was there to do maximal damage, and that he was assaulting officers and blah, 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 right? We all have video evidence to know that that's just a fucking lie from front to back, beginning to end. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. And we not only do we have all the video evidence, but then we also have all the people who were there and the witnesses who were there from before the recording start, talking about what all happened before that, to where we have more than enough people to refute what it is that Kristi Noem says, right? In this case, we don't have that. We don't have anything like that. We don't have anything remotely close to that. We have one person who makes a very outlandish claim that seems like pretty strong. Like this is like a this is a pretty wild claim to make. And then the authority comes out and says it's literally the opposite. The boy is at home with his family. We would have to have something more than some person just makes a claim, right? You would have to have more than that.
Okay. A little boy that a week later we found.
And you're sure it's the same little boy?
We're absolutely certain.
How do you know that?
Because we have pictures of him. We had descriptions of him. We know his name. We know his mother.
Okay.
He was extricated out of Gaza. It was a very...
Yeah, how do you know that? How do you know that the mom didn't, when you handed the mom the little boy, how do you know that she didn't just take a different little boy and say thank you and move on? How do you know she didn't just accept somebody else's little boy and then say, oh, thank you, you found him, and pretended that it was hers and moved on because this one was better looking than the one that she had before? How do you know? How do you know when the little boy ran over to his mom and said, Mama? How do you know that he wasn't just pretending because he didn't like his real parents?
Very delicate situation to get him out, because if Hamas had found out that he was still alive, they would have killed him in order to...
It would be in the official's best interest to deny the claim. You know that that's literally the case with everything. That is not evidence against this. You understand that that's literally, you can make that claim all the fucking time about literally anything. That's not evidence against the claim. You know that, right? You know that just saying like something's in their best interest to deny it, okay? Does that mean that they're any less right or wrong? Like, how is that relevant at all? How is that relevant in the least? You would still have to have evidence. You would still have to have some evidence. You would still have to have some reason to doubt this.
To validate Aguilar's story.
How do you know that?
So he gets out.
How do you know Hamas would have killed him?
Why wouldn't they? Wouldn't they have wanted to kill him? Because that way they could have said that this story was true.
Look,
that Aguilar, I'm just telling you,
what you're saying is true, and I have no basis of knowing.
Yeah,
I'm really
That's such a stupid fucking claim.
glad, because I don't want little kids to get killed, even 14-year-olds. Okay?
You shouldn't want anyone to.
But let me ask you: is it true? He also made the claim, and he had audio of it and video too, that U.S. contractors were using live ammunition to disperse crowds, and he had video of that. Do you know did he make up that video?
There were times, here's what happened. Crowds would come toward the sites, they were given verbal warnings, and then they were given additional verbal warnings, and shots were fired either in the air, sometimes in the ground. And if they continued to come and threaten, there were times when there were people who were engaged in firefights. That happened.
Oh, they were armed?
Sometimes they were.
They were. Do you know of specific instances where they were armed?
I can probably get you some specific information about that.
I think I know the answer to that. I don't think there's any evidence at all that they were armed.
But I also know that...
Are you okay with using live ammunition at aid distribution sites for families, women, and children?
Well, very rarely did this happen near
How about at all? Are you okay with that?
No. I'll tell you what I'm not okay with.
Okay
No. I think you are so trying to put words in my mouth.
So potentially the thing that they are talking about could have never happened. That is the claim, is that Aguilar claimed that he watched a little boy get shot in the head in Gaza. And Mike Huckabee is saying this guy's just fucking lying on your platform. You're sitting here letting him just make up shit and saying that that they just murdered people. They just murdered a little boy, and there's no reason to believe this. And then Mike Huckabee saying, and I know for a fact that this is a lie because I was part of actually returning him to his home. Fuck, there was something else that I was just about to say, and now I blanked on it. But like we could, oh yeah, when it comes to like incentives, when it comes to incentives, everybody always has incentives. Like incentives are never a reason to doubt or to like, or sorry, you can doubt, like you can say something's like less likely or more likely based on incentives, but it's not a, you can't say it's less likely or more likely, but you can say whether or not you trust it based on like incentives. The problem is that in this scenario, both sides have incentives. Both sides have incentives when like certain journalists want to get salacious stories out about Israel because they know that like obviously Israel has become the like the bad guy in the world, but in the scenario as well, that they're obviously somebody that they can put out very hyperbolic stories about, and a lot of people will easily eat it up because it's, he said there's audio of a different scenario, of a different, the audio is not related to that story, it's a different story. But anyways, but like yeah, you can make a lot of claims about Israel, just the same as like there was a period when you can make up a lot of stories about Russia and what it was that Russia was or was not doing, and a lot of people would believe it just because Russia was like the chief villain in the world at the time, so you could just throw out just about anything about Russia and Putin and people would believe it. I find that to be the case with Trump as well, because a lot of people are able to just make up stories about Trump and that a lot of people will believe it. Same with the right. When it comes to the Bidens or the Clintons, you can just make up a lot of stories and people will believe it. The incentives are all there. Like, it doesn't make the story more or less credible. It's just a non sequitur. Like, it doesn't actually bring you to any conclusion whatsoever, or add to the analysis of the story to just say that Mike Huckabee has incentives to deny the story.
You said that they were firing back, but then there's no evidence that they were.
On a Sunday afternoon, I can remember when there was widespread reports on BBC, CNN, and the New York Times, and they said that 27 people were killed at a feeding site. We had video extensively over that site. Not one single person, not only were they not shot, nobody was shot at. There was not one bit of violence that happened at that feeding site.
You're trying to get me to defend BBC? I'm not going to do that. It's like defending Hamas. I agree with you. I don't believe anything I see in the media. It's just that it's really simple. If people are using, and these were American contractors, by the way, these are not Israelis that I'm aware of. American contractors run by some crypto minister or something was running the group. If they're using live ammunition at an aid distribution site, that strikes me as totally unacceptable.
They were not firing.
Does it seem acceptable to you?
They were not firing at
people got killed. There's a way to...
Some of those people got killed because Hamas were trying to keep them from getting to the aid distribution sites because Hamas was controlling the food. Hamas made $500 million selling the food that was supposed to be given away for free.
Defend Hamas.
And what they were trying to do is to keep people from going to the sites where they were getting food for free. When we set GHF up...
I don't know why Tucker Carlson keeps repeating, I'm not defending Hamas. Nobody's claiming you're defending Hamas. That's not relevant. Whether or not you're defending Hamas is not relevant here. It's not relevant. Mike Huckabee is claiming that they're firing at combatants, that's who they're firing at. If other people got harmed in the process, they weren't firing at like innocent civilians. They were firing at combatants, and that other people may have been harmed in the process. But then every time he brings up, like, yeah, Hamas is doing X, Y, and Z, this is who they're firing at, then I'm not going to defend Hamas. Nobody said you would. Nobody said you would, but you in the process of like, and I'm not saying that Mike Huckabee's right here at all, but I'm saying that You have to actually contend with the claim. If you're defending what it is that Aguilar said, you have to actually contend with the claim. Okay, we're firing at people who are actual combatants, and we just so happen to hit other people. Okay, now you can turn around and say, well, no, that's not what happened. We know that they just fired on innocent civilians, and that like you're making it sound like these combatants were the target, but that's not true. You can respond and say, okay, fine. If they were firing at combatants, they should have been more careful. You can respond and say, you just said the same thing Tucker did. What did I say? What did Tucker say? What did I say that Tucker said? Tucker said, I'm not gonna defend Hamas just now. For the second time. What did I say that Tucker said? And so you said you're not agreeing with Mike. Correct? It's the same logic. Okay, before you move on to the second thing, what did I say that Tucker said? Move on? No, I'm asking you to defend a fucking point. You said that I just repeated the same thing that Tucker said. What did Tucker say? What did he say? I'll replay it. You tell me what he said, and I'll rewind it and replay it. Tell me what I said that Tucker said. Move on. I'm just gonna make a bunch of random bullshit claims, and then I want you to just move on. Don't challenge me like I have any responsibility to be truthful. I'm just a fucking troll chatter, okay? I don't need to be right. I don't have morals. I'm just a chatter. Only streamers and content creators have to be right. Normal people, we don't have any responsibility. What is the claim? You made the same distinction that Tucker did about Hamas that you did with Mike. What? I didn't make a distinction about Hamas. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is the claim? What is the thing that I said that Tucker said? I don't know what games you're playing. What did I say that Tucker said? Don't give me a characterization of it like you just did there. Don't give me a characterization of the way that we said things that you would characterize in the same way. I'm asking, what did I say that is the same as what Tucker said? You said that you didn't necessarily agree with Mike. Yeah, because I don't know anything about the scenario. I don't have an opinion on the scenario, so I don't know. I'm saying that Tucker keeps defending you're characterizing Mike. What does characterizing mean? I don't think you know what characterizing means if you think I'm characterizing Mike. I never characterized Mike in any way. You're too fucking stupid. All right, never mind.
Hamas the
bad,
first thing that
BBC
happened.
bad.
I know,
Agreed.
but I'm telling you, the first thing that people said was, "Wow, this is the first time we've had food that we got for free."
Is it okay to
buy
shoot unarmed people?
I just told you it wasn't.
That's awful.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Of course, it's awful.
He asked him the same question twice. Well, do you think it's okay to shoot unarmed people? No, of course not. But then moves on, and then so it comes back to Tucker again. Well, do you think it's okay to shoot unarmed people? You just asked him that. He said no the first time. What the fuck?
Are all lives equal, do you think?
Of course they are.
What you're claiming I'm doing. You're making my claim back at me because you don't know what characterize means. So you're just throwing random shit at the wall to see what sticks. But you don't know what the word characterize means. I'll call in and explain. Yeah, please do. Please do. Here's the phone number right here. Yeah, sorry, I see the people on the other chat like, wait, what? Yeah, I'm pointing at the phone number for the vertical chat. There you go. How about that? You guys feel better now? Again. Yeah, there's 2 streams up.
Call from
Michael.
What's up, Michael?
Hey, what's going on, man?
So you're the guy in chat, right?
You're trying to characterize Tucker by saying, hey, that doesn't, whatever he said about Hamas. But then you go into his explanation about, or you go into this characterization of him by explaining what Mike's doing, but you said, but I don't necessarily believe in what Mike's saying. So it's the same thing Tucker's saying about Hamas.
I didn't characterize
that's the logic.
Tucker, though. I didn't characterize Tucker, though. What I did is I gave an explanation of what arguments Tucker could give that would be like actual good rebuttals to what it is that Mike said. And I gave a reason for why what it is that Tucker is saying is not a good rebuttal. Neither one of these are characterizations of Tucker. That's me going into the logic of his reason.
He's saying, hey, I don't necessarily agree with Hamas, and that's what he's and you're going into a mischaracterization about him. That's what you're doing.
What do you think characterization means, please? I'm not understanding what you mean.
Describing the person and their actions and how they act and as a perspective.
With a like a concept of it. So if I said Tucker is stupid, that would be a characterization, right?
Yes.
Yes, correct. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say Tucker is stupid, but you're going in about it in a roundabout way. And you did exactly what you did. What Tucker said about Hamas, you just said about Mike Huckabee.
So you're saying that anytime I I analyze somebody's arguments and their logic, and I analyze it in a way that where I say they're wrong, this is now a characterization to you?
Wait, hold up. I hear your stuff going on in the background here, dude. So
you might have to pause the video.
All right, sorry.
So the reason that I said you're characterizing is that, just let me explain, because I think that this is where we're getting lost. The reason I said you're characterizing is I'm saying, if you can think I'm stupid, and you can say that I'm stupid, you can give a characterization, but if all you do is characterize me and you don't give an analysis, you don't give an explanation of that characterization, so you don't say, here's what you did wrong, here's how you did it and why it's wrong, and that's why I think you're fucking stupid. That would be fine. I wouldn't care about a characterization there because your characterization is actually backed up by some sort of analysis. But if all you do is characterize my argument, but you don't give any analysis to it whatsoever, any logic to it whatsoever, that's bullshit. But now you're saying that just because I did give analysis,
your analysis.
No, hold on. No, that's not what I'm disagreeing with. I'm saying that when I did not give a characterization of Tucker, what I did is I gave analysis of his argument and what he could say that would be a better response, and you called that a characterization.
Okay, well, maybe let me put it a different way then. Okay, so you're getting into an analysis about Tucker saying, hey, defending himself, saying, hey, I'm not for Hamas. Now, you're getting into this characterization by explaining about what's going on with Mike Huckabee, but then you say, but I don't necessarily agree with Mike Huckabee.
Correct.
Do you not see the circular logic happening here?
No.
So what Tucker's saying just doesn't matter, dude. It's really irrelevant to the standard point at hand here. I mean, he's saying, hey, I don't defend Hamas, and you're trying to get critical and build up into a characterization, an attack on him.
I didn't say he
defends Hamas. That's what you're building up to. That's what I was calling you out to begin with. You were about
you think I'm building up to say
Tucker and characterize him in that way. I mean, come on, dude.
Hold on.
We're not born. We're not born last night, dude.
Wait. You think I was about to say that Tucker is defending Hamas? You think that's what I was going to say?
You're trying to basically say that Tucker is stupid.
Wait, but But okay, but now you're just saying that I can't say that somebody's wrong. I cannot give.
Well, no, you can't say that somebody's wrong and stupid if you're using that same logic that you just did about saying, "Hey, I don't agree with Mike Huckabee."
Okay,
That's
okay, I'm going to give my explanation.
Saying.
I'm going to give my explanation one more time, okay? My issue with a characterization is that if all you do is characterize, you don't analyze it at the same time and give an explanation of that characterization, you're not actually giving anybody any information. You're just characterizing it. If you say Tom is stupid, but here's why, and you give a full explanation, well, I don't have a problem with the characterization now. I might have a problem with your logic, and we can have a conversation about the logic. But if all you do is characterize me and just say, well, hold on. Yes, but that's the problem, is that you're ignoring the logic and just paying attention to a characterization. The characterization is not a problem if you give a logic.
I'm sorry, Tom. I've explained your circular logic. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not calling you anything. I'm just telling you, you have circular logic here, and it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, what does that have to?
You're doing what Tucker said, which was, "Hey, I'm not defending Hamas here," and then you go and to say this is why, and you're like, "Hey, this is why Tucker is this and that," and then you go, "Here, listen to what Mike's saying, but I don't necessarily agree," and then you say, "I don't necessarily agree with Mike." That's the same thing Tucker's doing, dude.
How is that the same thing Tucker's doing? I'm so lost. Literally, nothing you've said so far has made any sense to me. I don't understand what you think is circular logic. How about this? Do me a favor. No. Do me a favor. Tell me what my argument is. Like when I say like I'm upset with them giving a characterization, or with you giving a characterization. Can you? No. Hold on. Please. Just tell me what my argument was as far as why I didn't like characterizations. Can you explain that real quick? I've explained it 3 times now.
You don't like characterizations unless they're backed up by some actionable like reasoning and resolve or logic or the reason why.
Correct.
Tucker is stupid, for instance. Yeah, but it's still a characterization. I mean, no matter what, a characterization without logic,
there's nothing wrong with characterizations.
Characterization.
There's nothing wrong with characterizations.
There's just definitions of characterization. Tom is stupid, or Tom is stupid because he's using circular logic. They're both.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with characterizations. This is my point: is that there's no problem. There's no issue with characterizations. A characterization is not a bad thing. You're making it sound like...
I don't think there is anything wrong with it.
Then why do you keep bringing up that me having a characterization of somebody is circular logic? Hold on, wait.
You're using the same logic that you're trying to criticize and or to give analysis to Tucker and his, so-called rhetoric by using the same thing he said to Mike Huckabee. You're saying, "Hey, I don't defend Mike Huckabee in my reasoning of why I'm characterizing, for lack of better word, Tucker Carlson." It's plain as day.
But I don't have a problem with characterizing. You keep saying this. Why do you keep ignoring the fact that there's not a problem with characterizing?
It's circular logic.
But the circular logic you're saying is that I come back to a characterization at the end, which isn't a problem. That's not bad. You keep making it sound like I think characterizations are bad.
So Tucker Carlson saying that I don't defend Hamas is not bad.
I didn't say it was. What are you talking about? What I said was that he keeps repeating that he's not defending Hamas when nobody ever accused him of defending Hamas, and that if he actually disagreed with what Mike Huckabee is saying, he could give an argument like this, or give an argument
which you don't necessarily agree with, but no one is attacking you for defending Mike Huckabee.
What does that? I don't know what truly, dude. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What I'm saying? Okay.
No, I don't think anybody does.
You're saying that Tucker Carlson, no one accused him of defending Hamas. Now you're using Mike Huckabee as the logical standpoint that what he's saying, but you don't necessarily defend Huckabee. No one's accusing you of defending Huckabee.
Hold on. I don't think that but I didn't. I didn't say that anybody. Hold on. Okay, so we're okay. I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying now. Okay, I get it. I get what you're saying now. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Have a great day,
okay,
man.
so no. Hold on, wait. Hold on. Tucker Carlson repeated twice when Mike Huckabee gave an argument. Tucker Carlson replied with, "But I'm not defending Hamas," as though that was the accusation. And then Mike Huckabee would repeat his argument, and then Tucker would repeat again, "But I'm not defending Hamas." Okay, you've said it twice now. Nobody's accusing you of this. Now, if I preface my statement just by saying, now, just to be clear, I'm not defending Mike Huckabee. I'm not saying he's correct. But what I am saying is X, Y, and Z. That's just me prefacing an argument. But when all Tucker Carlson says is only, "I'm not defending Hamas," and then stops there, he's not prefacing an argument. He's just being defensive by saying, "I'm not defending Hamas," when nobody ever accused him of that. These are drastically different things. He's still there. I don't know what's going on. He didn't hang up. Hello? Okay, I'll hang up. Whatever. All right, bro. He just got looped into the characteristics argument. I think that he just got like defensive, maybe, because I said, "Bro, you're not making an argument, you're just giving a characterization." I think he just got overly defensive about that. Like, "Well, you're giving characterizations too." When did I give a characterization? "Well, you're saying Tucker's wrong, so now you think he's dumb. You're doing the same thing. Dumb is a characterization." It's like, but I didn't say he's dumb. I gave an argument for why he's wrong. That might lead you to a conclusion, but the problem is that you only gave a characterization and not an argument for why that characterization actually means anything. So if you just keep saying, "Oh, you're so stupid, you don't know what you're talking about," yeah, you're not giving me anything to work with. I can't argue against, like, "You're just dumb." Like, I can't argue against that. But if you do say, "Tom, you were wrong about this, this, and this, and none of that even made sense, so that's why you're fucking stupid." Okay, well, now you've got a characterization at the end that encapsulates your entire argument. That's fine. Now I can actually argue against your logic and everything. But yeah, I don't know how the fuck he was. This guy sounds like an angry drunk. Bro, I don't know what the fuck that was then. Because even at the end, like, I felt like he was just pivoting to a new argument about like Tucker Carlson saying, "I'm not defending Hamas." Okay, I didn't say he was defending Hamas. Yeah, but you said I'm not defending Mike Huckabee. Yeah, but I gave an explanation. That was just a preface to my argument. Tucker Carlson never gave an argument. He just said, "I'm not defending Hamas." That's it. Like, he's just being defensive. So weird. All right, whatever then. Oh shit, we got another one. You guys, if you've been here the last like week, we've gone over like a couple of videos of Candace Owens just not knowing how to pronounce words. And it's actually fucking hilarious. Like, it really is. The way that she pronounces a lot of shit, it's amazing. Like, it's almost like hard to believe she thinks anything is pronounced that way. Like, truly. Like, watching a lot of this stuff, it's hard to believe she thinks that that's an accurate way to pronounce these words. And I wonder if sometimes it's just that she's reading things. Like, do you guys ever read a word very differently than you say it out loud? Does anybody else ever do this? Like, whenever I read certain words, I will read it very differently than I will say it. Like, kilometers, I will say kilometers in my head. Like, whenever I read it, I say kilometers. And even if I read it out loud, sometimes I'll say kilometers because I just read it that way. But if somebody says like, "Oh, how far did that person travel?" And I'm like, "Oh, 100 kilometers." Like, I never say kilometers if I'm thinking and just saying things. But if I read it differently than I say it. There's a number of words like that I'm trying to think of some other ones, but like hyperbole. Every time I read hyperbole, I think, like, I hear, my head says hyperbole, but I don't ever think hyperbole whenever I say it out loud. I think that Candace Owens might just be reading scripts, and it's hard for her to like read it in a normal way, and she reads it in an odd way. That's what I think. I'm not sure, but that's my like best like. That's me being as charitable as possible. I don't know what you're saying. Q? I don't know what this word is. If you just misspelt it and we're trying to say Q, I don't know what that is.
Okay, here we go again. Every time I think I'm done, I just keep pulling me back in. Why can't I quit you?
So I'll give you an analogy, or actually an anecdote, not even an anecdote, a reality.
It's an anecdote. Should have expected.
An anecdote. An anecdote. Like, this is... there's no way she's reading there, right? She didn't read anything there, right? Like, her cadence and everything, and the way that she, like, corrects herself and all that, that's, okay. Oh, you're saying when you read that in Spanish, you read Q instead of K. Okay.
Expected that one.
And he used to come in every day with a debacle.
Debacle. It's debacle. Candace, please, please. If this is a bit or something, just let me in on it, because I don't get it.
The Hamptons debacle came up with.
You really don't know these words? No one's ever corrected you?
I am so very disappointed in Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi, who all made these grandiose promises to get.
It's not grandiose. It's
grandiose, dude. Grandiose, dude. What the
Grandiose.
fuck?
Come on. I feel like you're Helen Keller and the miracle worker, and I'm the miracle worker, and I can't perform the miracle.
There is something so reminiscent, and it's striking to me.
Reminiscent. It's like you're trying to complicate the word more. Like
reminiscent? Reminiscent? That's not reading. It doesn't read anything like that. Reading, you do not read the word reminiscent as reminiscent. No, but like it does. If you were actually reading the word reminiscent, you would not read reminiscent. What the fuck?
Reminiscent almost sounds like it's a fancier way of saying it, but it's just reminiscent. You know, no one's ever said that word to you before?
Obviously, that's pretty reminiscent of one of the themes of the Matrix.
My therapist has told me that I need to cut this off and I need to leave.
And I think that they can be a better Christian is so reminiscent to me of a discussion.
I'm legitimately concerned for you. If you're having a stroke, just say Erica Kirk.
I'm not going to stop unless Erica Kirk asks me to stop, as I have said, or my father, or my husband.
Can we get paramedics on set, please? Can we get...
It's Erica Kirk, or my father. I mean, sorry, my husband. Are you mistaking Erica Kirk for your husband and your father all at the same time?
Can we get some paramedics on set, please? Please, quickly, quickly.
Bro, there's no fucking way. The other video that we watched the other day was her reading bureau as boro, and she kept saying boro over and over. The Federal Bureau of Investigations. There's no fucking way it is. There's no way.
Tonight, ICE's favorite law, a CNN investigation finding federal agents repeating the same.
Why is CNN's audio always so fucking low? It's so obnoxious. It's really freaking obnoxious, dude. Their audio is always so low compared to everybody else's. I always have to like blast them. Like I have to turn everything up on OBS so that everybody else can hear what it is they're saying. My audio's turned all the way up right now. Normally for everybody else, I keep it at about 70%. For CNN, I have to turn it up to 100%, and they still don't they don't get loud enough. I don't understand. You're a fucking professional news network. Why can't you ever get your audio issues under control? I'm annoyed with like everybody else, like, you know, Wick and everybody for not having any sort of like control over their audio issues. And now, but CNN also is just always so quiet.
Obscure law in video after video as they take U.S. citizens into custody. But are the charges sticking? CNN senior investigative correspondent Kyung Law is out front.
Stop following us. You are impeding operations. Impeding operations. Next time you will be arrested for impeding.
From what I remember, I've heard numerous people say that they haven't actually gotten a single impeding charge to stick. That like nobody has actually been convicted of impeding operations. Nobody has actually been convicted. Like all the people that they arrest for these, they almost always let them out within like 24 to 48 hours. And then the very few that have actually gone to court, because early on when they first started doing this, everybody made a big deal about this when they first started arresting people for impeding operations, and the first couple that went to court that got thrown out, they were like, this is not impeding. You can't do this. And we went over this on a couple of the panels that like in order for you to be impeding a federal officer, you have to use some sort of like use of force. There has to be a use of force in order to be considered impeding according to federal law. I think it's like 111 that they always use. You're violating 111, but you have to have a use of force there. And every time it went to court, there were like 2 or 3 cases that went to court, and all of them got thrown out right off the rip because there was just no use of force there. They're just following them in the car or something like that. Force and intent. Well, they didn't even get that far, because like you would have to, intent is something that you can like go through in court to see if there was intent, right? But you're not even going to try to decipher whether or not there was intent if there wasn't even force yet. Like if there wasn't, like force is something that we can just see objectively whether or not that was the case and whether or not there was any force there. Then what if there is force and you're obstructing, now they can bring in, like in court, try to go through a way of like making an argument for why they think that you had intent to do this. But if there's not even a use of force there, there's not even an argument of force there, we're never even going to get to the point where we make the argument for intent, because you gotta have that first. Like, so yeah, so the none of these people ever have force, and they all get thrown out. Okay, so from my understanding, from what I've heard numerous times, the first like 3 or 4 went to court, they all got thrown out, and ever since then they just lock people up and hold them for 48 hours and then let them out. This is a thing that people have always been afraid of like, there's a law that says that police can hold somebody for up to 48 hours without charging them. Okay, this is something that gives police time to detain somebody, interrogate them, look for evidence without them like, you know, obstructing and like you know, hiding evidence or like, you know, coercing witnesses or anything. They're able to detain this person, hold them for a while, and the law gives them 48 hours to do this so that they're able to like get their fucking evidence in order for a time. But you can't hold them forever. You can't hold them for a fucking month trying to get your evidence in order. Okay, you got 48 hours and then you got to let them out. And this is something that's like often done with like, you know, prostitution and shit like that. Is like they'll lock somebody up, but then they'll both like go and interrogate the prostitute and the John and try to like get them and then even like lots of times they just want to punish the prostitute, but they don't want to bring charges because it's kind of annoying to have to prosecute and go to court and everything just for prostitution. So they'll lock them up, they'll hold them for 48 hours, they'll let them out, and the prostitute doesn't care because they're happy that they're not getting charged. They're not actually, they actually deserve charges in that case. Here, this is something where people have been afraid that cops would use this 48-hour holding period just to fuck with people. Just because they can. Just because they can. So even if they don't have charges, they don't have anything to charge you with. So what? They can hold you for 48 hours. Fuck you. Oh, you're the guy who my wife cheated on me with? Sorry, bro. We gotta hold you for 48 hours. Like, I thought it was a speeding ticket. Well, we'll see. We're gonna have to hold you for 48 hours and find out. Like, you're able to use this like 48-hour window as as just a a way to fuck with people, and now it's happening. If anybody was going to do it, it would be the Trump administration. If anybody was ever like this, again, this is the thing that people have been afraid of for a really long time, is that people were going to take advantage of this 48-hour law, and if anybody was going to do it, it would be ICE, and it would be under Trump.
If you look at some of the videos posted by people recording immigration officers, you hear the same language.
Here's the thing, 18 U.S.C. 111. 18 U.S.C. 111. But no, 18 U.S.C. 111. Do you understand? We're arresting him for 111 impeding, you understand?
You can hear impeding, or 18 U.S.C. 111, over and over in dozens of videos. Officers have said it in Chicago, North Carolina, Oregon. But what is it? It's a federal law that punishes anyone who forcibly assaults, resists, opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes with a U.S. officer. Force, or even the threat of force, is an essential part of the crime.
She's not impeding. It's not impeding. It's observing.
We looked at Minnesota and 3 other places in the country with some of the most intense anti-immigration enforcement protests. And we found in the federal courts covering Minnesota, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Oregon, more than 12 times as many people have been charged under the impeding statute in the first year of the Trump administration as compared to the last year of the Biden administration.
Stop the car.
But the number of Americans being detained under 18 U.S.C. 111 is much higher.
Arresting 2 individuals for impeding.
Oh, no. Hell no. Nope.
We warned you, sir.
Like Ryan Eklund.
I felt somewhat protected by my First and Fourth Amendment rights. You can see in very short order that that's not the case. I pull into my local grocery store and I saw what was very clearly an ICE vehicle. I just decided to grab my phone and record them from inside my vehicle.
Had you done anything like this before?
I had never followed an ICE vehicle before, and I didn't start my day looking to do that.
Ryan was in the parking lot. He says he'd been recording for 90 seconds when the agent first approached him.
Morning. How you doing? Good, and you? Doing just fine, thanks.
They're making stuff up and fishing for crimes. I think that even that is too charitable. I think even that is too charitable. I think this is them, again, they tried pressing charges on a number of people. They didn't stick. They now know that if they try arresting people under 18 U.S.C. 111 or obstruction, just because they're following them, they now know that's not going to stick. That doesn't work, that it'll get thrown out. So what they do instead is they just arrest them for 48 hours. Because they know that this person's actually, when we say it's not going to stick, that means they're not committing a crime. That's what that means. They're not committing a crime. They did nothing illegal. Them following them, them recording them, there's nothing illegal happening there. So what this means is that because they're upset that they can't arrest these people because they're not doing anything illegal, instead of them just not arresting them, instead what they do is they arrest them for 48 hours and then let them out. So what they're doing is they are choosing to arrest people for things that they know are not crimes and are not illegal so that they can at least arrest them for a while. And they are choosing to punish people outside of the law. That's what they're doing. They are punishing people outside of the law.
Thanks. What can I do for you?
Ryan would spend the next few minutes following the immigration officers from a distance. He stopped again. This time, he gets a warning.
Morning, gentlemen. How you doing? Good. Just fine. What can I do for you? One warning for what?
You will not be following us anymore, or you will be arrested.
I can follow you wherever I want.
You will be arrested.
Great. Sounds good. Have a good one. Thanks.
Ryan keeps driving. After another couple of minutes, the agents decide they'd had enough.
You've been warned that you're continuing to follow us and you're breaking a lot of laws.
Oh, no. Hell no. Nope.
We warned you, sir. Loud.
I'm a U.S. citizen. Get your hands
that.
off of me. That's when they actually pulled me out of the car and put me to the ground.
What happened to you when you hit the ground, physically?
The 3 or 4 ICE agents kind of restrained me. Some knees and lower legs kind of.
This is stupid. A lot of these people doing the whole like, I'm a U.S. citizen, get your hands off of me. The U.S. citizen thing doesn't matter. We've gone over this 1,000 times. This is a thing that is pushed by TikTok and a bunch of other leftists on Twitter and shit like that. It's like, they're not, ICE has no jurisdiction over U.S. citizens. They are only allowed to arrest people who are illegal immigrants. They have no jurisdiction. They're not allowed to, like, this bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Please do not listen to these motherfuckers who are saying this stupid shit, because it is pushing a bunch of people like this guy and others to say dumb shit like this, 1. And then 2, a lot of people think they can get away with a lot more. And this is something that people like Rob Noor and all these other conservatives are pushing, is that, look, all of these fucking leftists are pushing dumbasses like Preddy to go out and do things that are illegal, that because they think that ICE isn't allowed to arrest them, and now they're like encouraging people to do shit because they think these guys have no jurisdiction over me. They can't do anything about it. But it's not true. There's a lot that they're allowed to do with U.S. citizens, and they even I think there's even a thing. We went over like a lot of the things that they are allowed to arrest for, like obstruction and shit like that. But impeding. But I'm pretty sure even if they just witness a crime, they're allowed to, like a state crime, even as long as it's a felony. If they witness this felony, they are allowed to arrest and detain you, and they have to just call local police officers to come and get you. So there's a lot that they're allowed to do. They have a lot more room than people think, and it's it is a bad look when we keep having these people running around saying, yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Kind of on my body to hold me down. So I got some road rash on my face at that point. From there, I was put into handcuffs and then immediately walked across the street to a white unmarked passenger van.
No.
In the video, you can see this patch on the agent's arm, SRT. That means he's part of ICE's elite special response team. Here's how DHS describes them: trained to serve high-risk warrants under hazardous conditions and dealing with hardened criminals such as drug cartel and violent gang members.
I think it's ridiculous. I am not a hardened criminal. I am not a drug cartel member. I'm a local real estate agent who was following them in my car.
Eklund knew where he was going because he first heard this, the sound of protest. From there, he was led inside the Whipple Federal Building, where he was led to a very specific table.
On the wall, a large piece of cardboard that had been written on by hand in black marker said USC 111.
He was put in a cell. Others eventually joined him.
And are you told that you are being arrested or charged?
No. What I was told by one of those agents was that I could be held for up to 48 hours without being charged.
Ryan was held for 9 hours and then released. There were.
By the way, I didn't know you sided against Alex Preddy, Tom. How surprising. I didn't side against Alex Preddy. I don't know what you're talking about. Alex Preddy was completely justified across the board and completely innocent.
Were no charges and no fines.
They are deploying this, tossing it out like candy on Halloween at anyone who just even looks at ICE the wrong way. I wasn't even familiar with this statute until about 4 weeks ago.
Minnesota criminal defense attorney John Chipwood has seen the rise of 18111 cases.
Bro, Connor's argument against Alex and Renee. Pepe, aren't you the one who's always in here complaining about counterpoints? What is your obsession with counterpoints, dude? Holy shit. But I do agree. Connor's argument was wild. We went over a couple, one or two of his debates with Pisco. I couldn't watch another one. People kept sending them to me, hey, there's a round 3. Hey, there's a round 4. I'm like, I'm done with this. It's hard to watch.
We've seen when the rubber hits the road in the courtroom, they're backing off.
In Minneapolis, prosecutors have dropped many of the charges to a misdemeanor or a fine. In Los Angeles and Chicago, most of the cases ended in acquittal or dismissal. And that's if they even make it to court. We found these citations that show U.S. attorneys have declined to prosecute, leaving people with something that's essentially a speeding ticket.
The cruelty is the point. They want to get these people off the streets immediately to intimidate them, to make them feel as if there's a consequence for speaking their mind.
The line between.
Yep, that's all this is. It's cruelty. That's all this is. It is just cruelty. They are just arresting people just because they don't like them. And that's it. They're upset that these people are protesting, and so they are arresting them to stop them from protesting. That's what this is. That's all this is. It's an intimidation tactic to try to scare these people out of protesting. So they arrest them for 48 hours and then let them go because they know that they can't actually charge them with anything. But every time they do arrest them, they make a big show of it. They make a big show of it, and they'll get it on camera, and they'll start posting it all over their their Twitter pages and everything, say, look, we arrested some more obstructionists from the leftists, you know, but then these people all get let out because they can't charge them with anything. So as long they just got their fucking social media posts, they got their Twitter posts, they got the thing for their Homeland Security Twitter account, and they put it out there, but that's it. That's it. That's all they want. That's all they want. They just want a clip that they can put out there saying that they're arresting people for this stuff so that they can intimidate people out of being able to use their freedom of speech. That's it. That's all they want.
Free speech and crime is a debate happening on Capitol Hill.
Jawboning, complaining, protesting, yelling.
Immigration agency leadership acknowledged in this hearing that people can't just be arrested for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Is filming of ICE or Border Patrol either an assault or a crime in any way, Mr. Scott?
No, sir.
Mr. Lyons?
No, sir.
And Kyung joins us now. Kyung, you reached out to the Trump administration about this. What did they say?
Well, they did decline to speak with us on camera specifically about the story, but we did get some statements from the Department of Justice. A spokesperson tells CNN, this Department of Justice will continue to seek the most serious available charge against anyone who puts federal agents in harm's way and will never make charging decisions based on the opinions of woke law professors. We also heard from the Department of Homeland Security, a spokesperson telling us, quote, there are myriad factors that affect the outcome of any given prosecution. The fact remains that anyone who assaults one of our officers is committing a felony, and anyone who obstructs them is committing a federal crime. Brianna?
And is the expectation that this policy will continue in other cities?
If you talk to the people who are following some of these officers on the ground, a lot of the observers who we spent a good deal of time with in Minnesota, they say the answer very simply is yes, in large part because many of them, there is no paper trail left when they are taken into custody.
It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane, dude. Because, like, really, you think about it, what is there that you can do about this? Like, there's nothing you can do, even though it's obviously illegal. It's obvious, you know, it's obvious that they're just trying to take your freedom of speech. It's obvious that they're trying to intimidate people. That's it. That's all they want to do. They want to intimidate people out of using their rights. But what do you do about it? Like, I don't know if you can sue for wrongful imprisonment if they did let you out in 48 hours. But when they keep doing it, knowing that there's likely no charges, what do you do? What do you do? Ridiculous. I don't get it.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks and doesn't care about the implications of his words before he speaks on matters like these. And in fact, if you actually look at what Trump said about this issue himself, he actually had the same, if not a worse, answer. So ask yourself, why do you think the issues turn to that? And I'm going to tell you, it's because, frankly, there are very few people who are actually willing to challenge the foreign policy establishment.
What is that purring sound? I was just, what, I don't know if that's a fucking person snoring, if that's a cat, if that's like bass to like from music that's about to kick in with a drum beat in a minute. I don't know, dude. I don't know. But sorry, I'll turn it down. I realize it's blasting now after I have to turn it all the way up for CNN.
That continues to send people to war and bankrupt our country for the rich. If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because
I mean, this is true. Like, this is a great fucking comeback because it is true that obviously Donald Trump doesn't actually He gives horrible answers all the time. If you had asked Donald Trump a question like this, he would have responded with some bullshit that was not relevant at all to the actual question. He probably would have gone off about tariffs in China and the fact that they're getting over on us and blah, 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 instead of actually saying anything about Taiwan and what it is that we would do in that scenario. He will just ramble about about this so incoherently. There's no way that you can look at what it is that AOC said in response and think that's the fucking bad response. That's the bad response. If you're somebody who voted for Donald Trump and you're accepting of all of his responses to all of these questions, there's no way you could be upset with her response. There's no way you could think her response is bad. I think this is the biggest nothing burger. I really do. I think that it's stupid for anybody to even make a big deal about this, to care about it, to think oh, it's such a bad response. I think when you put it in the context of where you actually add in her actual response, where she actually does give a full response, I think the stumbling and stuttering that came beforehand it's not even remembered by the time that she answers the question, and she finishes answering. You don't think, oh man, the stuttering and stumbling is so bad. You get the answer and you totally forget about the rest of it. But everybody cuts out where she gives the answer, and then they just only show you her stumbling and stuttering. I know we watched Hutch and Pisco get into it the other day about this. I don't think it matters. I think to even say that it's a bad look is just kind of it's kind of stupid. When you say it's a bad look, does that mean you think it looks bad? And you think there is a bad implication of this? This could lead to some sort of bad outcome, that this is a bad look in the sense of you think she doesn't know what she's talking about? You think she doesn't actually have an opinion on this, or that she doesn't know what is the bad look? Or are you saying people will think it looks bad? Other people, not me, but just people in general, will think it looks bad. It just has bad optics. Is that all you're saying with this? Because if that's all you're saying, it's just a meaningless statement then. If we ask you, do you think this looks bad? And you just say, oh, well, it's a bad look. Or what do you think about this? You say it's just a bad look. Okay. But if you're just telling me other people think it's a bad look, that's a meaningless statement. I want to know what you think about it. And if you think that it's a bad look, I want to know why. What is bad? What is the thing that is bad about this? How does it look bad?
A lot of politicians say they believe in voter ID, but do they really? Because I'm from Alabama and I've seen some things. The Save America Act is a sort of national voter ID bill, and Tommy Tuberville says he's for it. So does Katie Brett, and of course, this guy. But should we believe them? First, let's consider the curious case of John Wall. Until very recently, Wall was the chairman of the Alabama Republican Party. While he served in that role, on at least 2 occasions, he voted with an ID he made himself. 2 Republican Alabama secretaries of state have said it did not meet the requirements of Alabama's voter ID law. Sound odd? We're just getting started. Alabama poll workers raised concerns about that ID, including Clyde Martin. And what happened to him? In an email, Wall asked election officials to remove Martin as a poll worker, which they did. Wall admitted to me that he made the ID himself. Since then, 2 Alabama secretaries of state have forwarded complaints to prosecutors. And what happened then? Nothing. Did Alabama Republican officials like Britt or Tuberville question whether Wall should remain party chairman? Heck no. Instead, Wall was chosen to serve as vice chairman of the National Republican Party after all this came out. And there's more. As it turns out, Wall did have a driver's license when he was voting in those elections, only it was a Tennessee driver's license. Wall says he considered moving there, but never did full time. He also registered to vote there under the name Nehemiah Ezekiel Wall, a name he never used on any official Alabama document that I could find. He has since changed his name on Alabama's voter rolls and now is running as Nehemiah John Wall for Alabama Lieutenant Governor. And guess who endorsed him? Yep, this guy. Mr. Save America with voter ID endorsed a guy who voted with an ID he made himself at least twice and who was once registered to vote in 2 different states under 2 different names. It's not that hard to imagine what might have happened had Alabama's Democratic Party chairman done the same things. Because no matter what any of us think about voter ID, for laws to act as laws, they must apply the same to everybody. Otherwise, they're just legal weapons for people in power to deploy against people they don't like, which seems to be happening a lot lately. So ask yourself, do the folks behind the SAVE Act really believe in voter ID, or is this something else?
Carlin Borisenko, if you guys know who she is, apparently a lot of people on my in my community don't know who she is, but I think the first TikTok video I ever put out was about her, and yeah, here she is. She did a Why I Left the Right video a long time ago and became really famous off of, like, she was a nobody. She was like a crystal mommy sort of content creator for a long time. And she did her Why I Left the Left video and made it big on the right. And it's just a complete grifter. I mean, at this point, she's pretty much a groiper and is like a hardcore Nick Fuentes stan. But she, because even for like another like 4 or 5 years, she kept saying, I'm not a conservative. I just vote for Donald Trump, but I'm a liberal. Donald Trump's a liberal. Like that was her whole thing. But she did this when she first came out with her Why I Left the Left video. She then also did a PragerU video talking about how she went to a Trump rally and nobody even attacked her. Everybody was so nice. What she had been told about these people the whole time was totally untrue. I can't believe I was so easily duped into believing this shit. Like, it was the dumbest fucking shit. Like, who says that you go to a fucking Trump rally and they're all gonna fucking attack you or some shit? Who says this? Where does this come from? Like, that nobody said that. So this is her video here.
No one harassed me. No one intimidated me. No one threatened me.
None of them raped me or killed me. I couldn't believe it. I'm still alive today to tell the tale. And that's why I'm voting for Trump.
More like a rock concert than a political event. People were dancing and having a fantastic time.
It was awesome. I went to this political rally for Donald Trump, and he didn't talk about politics the entire time. I don't even think he knows what a policy is. He doesn't even talk about any of that stuff. We had fun. It was just like a rock concert. And Donald Trump didn't rape or murder me. So he can't be that bad of a guy, right?
No one harassed me.
Can't be that bad of a guy, right?
So she posted a video the other day of Nick Fuentes saying that he thinks that the Democrats should win. That, like, they're all going to sit out of the election. They want them to win.
Don't vote. Do not vote in the midterms. The Republicans have to lose. They have to lose. They have to crash and burn. A cleansing fire is the only thing that will save us. It cannot be fixed. Fuck them. Fuck Trump. Fuck MAGA. Fuck all this stuff. It can't be fixed. If it could have been fixed, it would have been fixed in 2025, but it wasn't. They made every mistake. Liberation Day, disaster. Doge, disaster. Big Beautiful Bill, disaster. Epstein Files, disaster. Iran, disaster. The personnel, Mike Waltz, disaster. Ratcliffe, disaster. Rubio, disaster. Pam Bondi, disaster. All self-inflicted. Trump personnel, Trump policy, Trump strategy, Trump playbook. We tried it your way. It didn't work. Fuck you. Now we don't vote. That's the message. Seriously. Can't blame anybody else. Bad advice, bad advisors, Biden's economy. Enough already. It didn't work. We're not voting.
So he says Republicans have to lose. Republicans have to lose. So we're not voting. We're sitting out this election because Republicans have to lose. And she tweeted this out and said, Nick Fuentes is so hot in this video that it's going viral on leftist social media. Just perfect. Amazing. And I said, if Nick Fuentes actually meant any of this, he'd tell you to vote Democrat. Not voting is just a safe half measure that makes him look edgy. Like this is if you actually want to, he says Republicans have to lose, right? He doesn't say we're just not going to support them. He says Republicans have to lose. They have to lose. Okay, if they have to lose, go vote fucking Democrat. If they have to lose, go vote Democrat. If that's the case, go vote Democrat. That's it. Like, very simple. Go vote Democrat. If you don't vote Democrat and you just don't vote, yeah, this is a half measure. This is a half measure that you can just throw out there because you and your community can all just kind of look edgy by not voting. But you're not actually stopping the Republican Party from winning. You're just making it to where you're not supporting them as much, which is obviously a half measure. It's a tacit support for the Democrats, but don't go with the fucking half measure. Go full in. Vote fucking Democrat. Don't be a fucking bitch. Don't be too pussy to actually take this to its logical conclusion. Do it. Don't be a fucking leftist where the leftists all say we're going to sit out and we're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. And then, but when they know their non-vote for Kamala Harris is helping Donald Trump win, don't be that motherfucker. Don't be a fucking leftist who's just taking a half measure. Go vote. Go vote for fucking Democrats. Don't be a fucking bitch about this. Go vote Democrat. But when I say this on Twitter, I quote Twitter, she replies and says, only literal retards think so. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Only literal retards think so. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? I literally have no idea what that means. I literally have zero clue what the fuck that even means. I just said good one. I don't know what the fuck that means. Show your tweet again. I said if Nick Fuentes actually meant any of this, he'd tell you to vote Dem. Not voting is just a safe half measure that makes him look edgy. Maybe she's saying, only literal retards think he's just trying to look edgy, maybe? Maybe literal retards think that voting Democrat would be a full measure, not a half measure. I have no idea what the fuck that's supposed to mean. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. I just saw this. Somebody replied and said, negative, stupid twat. Tom is correct. You're either lying about the logic he stated, or you're the retard believing he's incorrect. Either way, you're being a stupid shit. A stupid slit. Put a tampon in and give yourself a week's break from the internet. First said agreed. You'd have to be retarded to think Fuentes means anything he says. You're the biggest retard here. It's astrologically projected into fate that you are retarded. Well, she got the ratio on me. She got the 23 likes on the 7 like post, but I literally have no idea what the fuck she's talking about. Maybe she's saying people who take his video seriously are dumb. No, she fucking loves Nick Fuentes. No. She loves Nick Fuentes. I think. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she loves Nick Fuentes. Does he think that Democrats would really allow his plan to succeed? This dude is pulling off a Democrat magic trick, and you fucking morons are believing the bullshit. If the left gets power at the level he's suggesting, we would be legitimately fucked. Any opposition of substance would be labeled as a terrorist or racist organization and barred from running candidate. There would be zero recourse because as soon as they got power, they would stack the system against it. This is so insane, bro. These people are so... This is literally what, like, every single Republican, like, news station, radio station, like, everybody is telling them, is that if Democrats ever get back into power, they will bar us from ever running again. They will make it illegal. They'll make Christianity illegal. They'll make it to where everybody who runs has to be a Muslim. Like, they are unironically, like, really pushing this messaging right now that Democrats are coming back. If Democrats come back, they are coming back to implement communism, and that's that. Like, authoritarian rule. That's the end of it. But yeah, like, you can see, like, her comments are people mad at her for supporting this. Yeah, this person, you might not know this, but he flips between supporting Trump and against Trump, depending on the optics. Yes, this is exactly, he does it based on optics, based on, like, edginess, based on what's going to get him the most views for some sort of hyperbolic take. This is what he's always done. "100% spot on. This is a great opportunity for Americans to purge the Rhino GOP cancer once and for all. Fuck them all." Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't get it. She just leaves, like, any fucking random comment that just calls you stupid or throws out some sort of insult just to like respond, but I have no idea what the... Tom, did you watch Erudite on whatever? No, I didn't even know she was on whatever. It's crazy, bro. I don't know if you guys saw this, but our queen, Valkyrie, is in a bit of a controversy after this clip.
I didn't stream yesterday. My brother passed away yesterday. And I had, like, my meetings, and my mom called me, and she was like, "Yeah, Mark died." And I was like, "Oh shit." And so yeah, he had a really bad alcohol problem.
Yeah, I didn't stream yesterday. I'm back today. My brother died. My mom called me and she was like, "Yo, this dude dead." I was like, "What? No way." That's what I just heard, dude. That's what I just heard. I don't know if that's what you guys heard, but that's what I just heard. Is her just being like, "Bruh, I had to take a day off because my brother died." My mom called me. She's like, "Yeah, that dude dead." I was like, "What? That shit crazy. He dead? Wow." But it's okay. I'm back today. Like, that seems so he was an alcoholic, so it's chill. Yeah. It's all good though. He was an alcoholic, so I don't know. Like, it just seems like such a fucking crazy way to just, like, present this to your audience. Like, yeah, took a day off because my brother died, so figured I'd take a day. What? Holy shit, dude. your fucking brother died? But you're just like the most monotone, nonchalant way of just explaining this. It's fucking wild.
I didn't stream
dude.
yesterday. My brother passed away yesterday. And I had like my meetings, and my mom called me and she was like, yeah, Mark died. And I was like, oh shit. And so yeah,
Shit, bro.
yeah, he had a really bad alcohol problem, and he passed away from alcohol. So sad. Yeah, so that was yesterday. I just felt really bad because I had like a lot of resentment towards him. We did not have a relationship. I was like kind of angry yesterday because he just like didn't treat my mom with respect. He did not like my mom. And then my mom was like crying on the phone yesterday to me, and then she was like, you should forgive him. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I have to because he's dead. Like, I don't know, this freaking sucks. Like, I don't know, I was like angry, and she was like, no, she's like, it's okay, just forgive him. And I'm like, fine, I forgive him, but what the fuck? Like, I shouldn't have to forgive him just because he died. I was like, okay, no, that's fine. And so I was just having a weird day yesterday, and I was like, like, you know, we never had a relationship. I feel like he never allowed us to have a relationship. After my dad passed away, he never tried talking to my sister and I again. So it's like, why? Like, okay, yeah, great.
I can understand this to an extent. Like, I can. Like, I think about it, like, if I had died back when I was, like, in the midst of, like, heroin addiction and all this, the past 5 years with my family had been fucking hell. Like, I put them all through fucking hell. They were all probably just waiting on me to die at that point. They were all just kind of like, bruh, how is this motherfucker still alive, dude? Like, sheesh. When is he gonna fucking die already? Like, why is he gotta keep putting us through this shit? Like, he's just, like, you're a fucking heroin addict. You're always like this close to death. Like, we've all been prepared for your death for a long time. Like, it's inevitable at this point. You just somehow keep living. Like, it's not that they wanted me to die. It's that, like, they'd probably all mentally prepared for that. Like, you know, years earlier, and that it was just something that, yeah, to them it was probably just inevitable. And so when her brother actually dies, it probably seems like, okay, yeah, like, we all knew this was coming. This is not a big surprise. Not like, oh, what? He's dead? What? How? Like, probably, okay, all right. But it just, I think she has to understand that, like, the way that she's presenting this to her audience, especially starting off like that, where, like, if she had explained it like this stuff first, if she had started off with, like, had a really, like, you know, controversial relationship with my brother. He's always treated my family horribly, and was like, I haven't had much of a real relationship with him in a really long time, and just don't really know him anymore. And he struggled with alcoholism for a really long time, and so we've all kind of been we've all known that he had bad health and that he likely wasn't going to be able to stick around very long. And my mom called me yesterday and said that he died, and so I did have to take a day off. Like, that would have been a much better way of presenting this. Well, the starting off with the, like, yeah, I took a day off yesterday because my brother died. My mom called me and was like, he's dead. And I was like, oh man, crazy. Like, that, just such a bad way of starting off. And then everything that comes afterwards to people is gonna seem like almost like cope. But it's insane. Her attitude is fucking insane. Yeah, that's exactly. Like, it seems like again, I think she could have had the same attitude if she had flipped it and given, like, the explanation first and then said that. But I think, yeah, like, the like, when you just drop a bomb like that, like, right off the rip, just like, yeah, brother died, took day off, like, that seems so insensitive and so ridiculous that, like, the explanation afterwards almost doesn't even matter at that point. Like, the explanation afterwards is just like, it almost seems like you're piling on to how insensitive you are by talking about him like this, and, like, you know, just kind of like, you know, making it to where his the memory of him is you know, you talking shit about him after he died, and like that's what it comes off as now. Whereas yes, if instead you started off talking about the problems and then said, and so my mom called, turns out he died, had to take a day off, like that would have been way better. But yeah, there's just like no solemn explanation or response. Like in the response, it's just very nonchalant. It comes off very odd.
I feel like he never allowed us to have a relationship. After my dad passed away, he never tried talking to my sister and I again. So it's like, why? Like, okay, yeah, great, you passed away, fine. Like, I don't know. I feel bad for his kids because his kids are actually nice to us.
That part also is fucking wild to me, because then I think, holy shit, dude, like his kids now have to like deal with you sitting online talking about their dad like this. Like this seems so fucked up. Like his kids now have their aunt sitting there kind of talking shit about their dad, where they're probably not super nonchalant about it. They're probably not all just sitting around like, oh yeah, he dead, whatever, bro. Like they're probably all broken up about this, and this is probably a big deal to them. They're probably not all sitting around like that. That to me, when that part comes out, I'm like, what? He has fucking kids, and you're just sitting here just talking like that's fucked up. That's so fucked up. It just seems so fucked up. Like maybe it's just something known in the community. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Based on the response, it does not seem to be the case. I don't think it is.
But it's like, damn.
It's like, damn, bro.
When you lose someone that you're related to that you don't have a healthy relationship with, there are a lot of people like that, like me. And
these are all tweets on the side. Brother passes away, immediately goes on stream and starts talking bad about him. These streamers are soulless. Hitler cried more for his dog than Valkyrie did for her own flesh and blood. I feel bad for his kids because they are nice to us. What a fucking lunatic. Yeah, that was also that part also. Actually, I should have mentioned that as well. To like make the thing that makes it to where that's why you feel bad for the kids is because they're nice to you. You wouldn't have felt bad for the kids if they weren't nice to you. But because the kids were nice to you, now you feel bad for them. Like it's so fucking weird, bro. Disgusting bitch if she was my sibling, became an alcoholic as well. Oh, I think I'm missing part of that. I don't know.
I think it's reassuring that there.
Yeah, so this is after like the big blow up and everybody was mad about it. This is her giving an explanation after the fact.
When you lose someone that you're related to that you don't have a healthy relationship with, there are a lot of people like that, like me. And I think it's reassuring that there are a lot of people that are being empathetic towards my emotions. I'm really sad today. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really sad. It's been a frustrating few days, right? Talking to people has helped a lot. And I appreciate the people that understand how emotionally turmoil it can be to lose a family member that you don't have a good relationship with. It's very complicated. And for some reason, some people can't understand that. It's so weird. It's actually so weird. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. I think a lot of people can understand that you can have very complicated emotions with a scenario like that. I think that most people are very capable of understanding that. Again, it's the way that you talk about it. It's the presentation. It's the way that you go about explaining this to people that part is the weird part. Like, that's the part that's odd. Why is she pretending to be sad? There's no point. I mean, I don't think she's pretending to be sad. I think that, like, she probably I'm sure that it is a complicated scenario and that she probably does have just a lot of, like, mixed emotions with the entire thing. Because even if there's somebody that, like, you know, you grow up and you grow apart and you don't have relationships and shit like that, it's probably true that you still had, like, a relationship with them when you were younger, and that, like, you still have fond memories with them. You still have, like a person that you liked before, that you were attached to before, but that, like, later, yeah, you eventually grow apart and you start to have some, like, disdain for them as a person. Like, I have siblings like this that, like, that I don't talk to, and that I don't have much of a relationship with anymore, and yeah, like, I've thought about, like, yeah, if they died, like, there would be some odd feelings there. But yeah, I think that the presentation here, I think, is the bigger problem.
Grief is a roller coaster. Yeah, it is. And I think I need to give myself a little more grace because, God damn it, people piss me off. A lot of people reached out, which was nice. It was really, really nice. I also don't get along with my family, and people never understand it. I completely get it. Thank you. I feel like only people that understand what it's like to have bad relationships with family members will probably understand.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a bunch of the, like, Pisco, Hutch, Destiny stuff a little bit later.
I don't know how to describe it to people. I genuinely don't. I don't know. I just could not believe how obliterated, once again, I was getting for not reacting the right way to my brother passing. I don't know.
Again, I don't think that that's the problem. I see that there are people in chat who are saying this, okay? I don't have a problem with, like, her reaction to it. I don't have a problem with, like, her feelings about this. I don't feel like she needs to feel a certain way. I don't feel like she ought to feel a certain way. I don't feel like any of that. Again, it is the presentation. It is the presentation. It is the way that you're giving this information to your audience. It is the way that you communicate that to your audience that it comes off insanely cold and just devoid of emotion. So if that part, like, again, if she had switched up the way that she said this, like, in a different order, and she threw in there, like, you know, yeah, like, this is very complicated for me because obviously it's my brother, but, like, you know, this is somebody that I've had a complicated relationship with, and, like, I've got complicated feelings and emotions about this, and trying to sort that out. Like, that would have been one thing. And we didn't see it in the clip. Maybe she did say those things. Maybe the clip fucking changed the order of things. I'm not sure. But from what I saw, that was odd. That was weird.
Oh, Trump was right. There was voter fraud in Georgia. The only thing was, it wasn't in 2020 when he thought there was voter fraud that made it where he didn't win the election. It was in 2024. With Elon Muskrat's super PAC. They were sending out absentee ballots that were already filled out, which is against Georgia fucking law. Every single one of their accusations is them just projecting something they themselves do. They said that there was voter fraud in Georgia. Yeah, by the Republicans. By
the Blue Georgia Twitter account has been fucking dope, dude. I've been following them for a bit. They're fucking sick. You don't even have to be from Georgia to follow this account and think that it's fucking. They put out some awesome shit. So you guys should go follow them.
I just called the DOL and they're like, press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish.
Oh, this is fucking crazy, dude. This is fucking crazy, bro. This is
Standard,
nuts.
right? I press 2 for Spanish. I would like to speak to them in Spanish. Tell me why it stays in English but switches to a Hispanic accent. Except for numbers. The numbers are in Spanish. So when you request Spanish on the DOL website, when you request Spanish, it stays in English but just puts a Hispanic accent on.
You have reached the driver licensing service line. If
Listen
you are
to
calling
this.
about a vehicle or boat,
Listen
please
to
press
this.
1. Please press 1 for English. 2 para español. 3 для русского. So more. Thank you for calling the Department of Licensing Customer Support Center. For assistance with scheduling a driver licensing office appointment, canceling an existing appointment, or questions about an upcoming appointment, please press 1. All other callers, please stay on the line. Thank you. To better serve you, will need the last 4 digits of your social security number and your date of birth. If you have a valid Washington driver license, or ID card, and a social security number, press 1. If you do not have both of these, press the pound key.
I don't believe this. This is troll. I don't know, dude. I don't know. If you guys remember, when Donald Trump first took over the presidency, like the next day, they took down the Spanish version of the White House website. They took down the Spanish version of the White House website. And if you tried to go to the Spanish version, it had a big button there that said, "Go back home." That just forwarded you to the English version. But obviously the implications of "go back home" being on the Spanish version of the website, which was real, which we did verify. We double checked all of this. Like, we put out fucking shorts and TikToks on it and everything. It was wild. But they literally did this. They literally put out they took down the Spanish version of the website and then put the button "go back home."
I just called the DOL, and they're like, press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish.
All right, let's check. U.S. Department of Labor, U.S. DOL, National Helpline. One 866-487-9243.
Welcome to the U.S. Department of Labor, Wage and Hour Division. Bienvenido al Departamento de Trabajo de los Estados Unidos, División de Salarios y Horas. Para continuar en español, presione 2. The Wage and Hour Division enforces the federal minimum wage, overtime pay, child labor provisions, and record-keeping requirements under the Fair Labor Standards Act. Additionally, we enforce a number of other labor laws including FMLA, government contracts, agricultural employment and housing, certain immigration programs, wage garnishments, and lie detector tests. Visit our website at dol.gov/agencies/WHD for more information. Please enter your employer's 5-digit zip code followed by the pound sign. US. For information related to unemployment benefits, press 1. For information related to the East Penn Manufacturing Company lawsuit, press 2. For office hours, address, phone and fax numbers, press 3. To dial wage and hour staff by extension, press 4. To repeat this menu, press 9. To speak with someone, press 0 or just stay on the line. The Wage and Hour Division cannot answer questions related to unemployment benefits or unemployment fraud. If you have questions about unemployment benefits, please contact your state unemployment agency. You can find their contact information at dol.gov/UI-contacts. To repeat this information, press 9. To return to the main menu, press the star.
Yeah, this doesn't even give the options. But there's so many different fucking phone numbers that I don't know. I don't know which one she called.
Standard, right? I press 2 for Spanish. I just called the DOL, and they're like, press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish. Standard, right? I press 2 for Spanish. I would like to speak to them in Spanish.
I don't know, like, what, maybe she called the Department of Labor in her state. Maybe she called the Department of Labor, but it was like, because like we just saw, there's a bunch of different ones. USDOL general information, USDOL wage and hour division, and then we've got like 3 different numbers for the Georgia Department of Labor. So even if we found out what state she was calling, there still might be 3 or 4 more fucking numbers just for that state. So there's no way for me to fact check any of this. We don't have enough information. Weird. That's too funny, dude.
I'd like to thank Pam Bondi for teaching a lot of Americans what the Dow Jones is. That is the one good thing about this administration. It makes a lot of people be like, I should probably look that up.
It's a funny thing because anytime Trump comes out about something and says something fucking stupid, all of us sitting there, everybody with brains sitting there listening, like, wait, I need to fact check this. And then we go and we start looking into stuff, and we have to start like learning about the thing that he talked about just to see if he's right or wrong, like with tariffs, like having to find out like what tariffs are and how tariffs work and who pays the tariff and like all the shit. Like we have to become fucking experts on all this shit because we don't trust our president to actually know anything that he's talking about. But then when we start debunking everything, the Republicans all come out and say, oh, all of a sudden Democrats are experts on this. Democrats all became experts on COVID and on viruses, and they all became fucking doctors overnight and understood everything out of nowhere. All the Democrats all of a sudden, they know everything about tariffs, and they know everything. Like this is a real thing, is that yes, we all have to become educated on shit that when we trust our government, we don't have to really understand or need to worry about as much. But when we have somebody like Trump in charge, we all have to be like, I'm probably smarter than this motherfucker. We gotta go look this up.
Try to take the high road whenever I talk shit about someone. All that said, the best I could do is Pam Bondi's a f***ing because prove me wrong, you know? Pam out here making us rethink the term Karen, you know what I mean? Pam is a way better term than Karen. Karen's too many syllables. You used to be like, she's a Pam, she's a total Pam. Pam is somebody who would lie to you and then deflect by talking about the stock market. Is someone who would cheat on her husband with Jim from The Office. You know what I'm saying? Pam Bondi had a testimony. It's basically a hearing for people who can't hear questions. She bombed harder than Kid Rock. It was bad. It was like her own halftime show, Bad Bondi. Except I could understand every word of it and I hated it. Pam Bondi's performance in the hearing was so bad already, but then you realize she's a lawyer and that makes it even worse. Then you realize she's from Tampa and you're like, okay, it's not that bad actually. So, of course she's from Tampa. She tampered with the evidence, okay? So, if you don't like that joke, let me give you your tampon, okay? And if you don't like that part, watch her tamper, okay? So, relax, this bit is only temporary. So then they asked her the big question. They're like, Pam, why are you protecting our pedophile president? And she's like, the Dow Jones just hit 50,000. We're like, what? She's like, the Dow Jones hit.
I've used this so many times in real life with other people coming up to me and saying like, hey, did you pay this? I'm like, the Dow right now. Like everything all the time. Mantis gets mad at me. She's like, hey, I told you to call me like 20 minutes ago. It's over. Or, I told you to call me in 20 minutes and it's over an hour later. I'm like, Alex, the Dow. The Dow right now, it's over 50,000. The S&P, get a grip.
50,000! 50,000! 50,000! The same number of times Trump appears in the Epstein files. 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! 50,000! For those of you who don't know, the Dow Jones is an average, of which you have to be above to understand this. And it's an index comprised of 30 big companies, such as Microsoft, Amazon, Disney, mostly companies found in the Epstein files. The companies are called blue chip, which is the color of the pill you have to swallow to believe this. The Dow Jones is measured in points. What is this, a video game? The Dow hit 50,000 points. Don't you like points? Like, is this reality or Fortnite? Either way, it's getting played by Jeffrey Epstein. If you know, you know. The Dow Jones is a price index, and prices are high. That's not a good thing. And she's like, but did you know the Dow Jones just hit 50,000? You need to account for inflation, you dumb. Okay, I'll stop. This is like the shittiest investment course, stocks and bondies. She better start investing, because she won't have a job soon, I'll tell you that much. I don't see much wealth in her futures, if you know what I mean. She better start talking to Nancy Pelosi, get some ideas. But if she does invest in bonds, hopefully, unlike Trump, she waits till they mature. You guys need to brush up on your stock terms. Do we deserve justice? All we're getting is equity. We need a government who shares. Release the files, not this initial public offering, IPO. Release the files. You're losing our trustee. Our interest is high.
Okay, the puns are a bit lackluster here.
Breaking news, the Georgia Election Board just found that there was fraud in the 2024 elections, but not how MAGA thinks. Turns out Elon Musk sent out pre-filled absentee ballots, which is an explicit violation of Georgia law, meaning that Trump cheated. There was fraud in the Georgia election, but not on the part of Democrats. And this tracks because Donald Trump projects. Every time he does something wrong, he accuses someone else of doing it. Just like he accuses everybody else of diddling children, and then here he is in the Epstein files being a total pedo. Are we surprised that he's accusing people of cheating in the election when it was him that cheated? It's time to get rid of this guy, y'all.
Yeah, so this is actually we finally do have one claim of election fraud that does seem to be true. So this is one that does seem to be real. I wouldn't say he stole the election. I wouldn't say he stole the election, okay, but I would say yes, that like he engaged in election fraud.
Next case on the agenda is SEB 2024-151 multi-county pre-filled AB applications from November 2024.
The Secretary of State's office initiated an investigation on October 7, 2024, after receiving complaints from several counties alleging that the organization America PAC, a political campaign, sent partially pre-filled absentee ballot applications to register voters in Chattooga, Cherokee, Coweta, Floyd, and Whitfield counties after the passage of a law that had made such activity unlawful.
Mr. Chair, I think that there is evidence to suggest that America PAC is in violation of 21-2-381 when they sent to an elector pre-filled absentee ballot applications in November of 2024, and evidence to suggest that America PAC is in violation of 21-2-381 when they failed to display in a conspicuous location the statutory language. This is not an official government publication and was not provided to you by any government entity, and this is not a ballot. Mr. Chair, I would move that we issue, I'd make a motion that we issue a letter of reprimand to America PAC.
We have a motion.
What was that last one?
It's not a ballot. Statutory language. This is not an official government publication and was not provided to you by any government entity, and this is not a ballot. Mr. Chair, I would move that we issue, I'd make a motion that we issue a letter of reprimand to America PAC.
We have a motion to issue a letter of reprimand to America PAC. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of issuing a letter of reprimand to America PAC signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing no opposition, so moved. A letter of reprimand will be sent to America PAC on case SEB 2024-151.
There were other things that I really hoped that some of the Elon Musk PACs were going to get in trouble for. Like, one was pretending to be Kamala Harris's campaign. Like, they literally did tons of like ads, put out tons of ads, sent tons of text messages to people, put out tons of stuff on Facebook, pretending to be the Kamala Harris campaign by using all of the stuff that the Trump administration was fear-mongering on. we did numerous videos on this and like went over a ton of the stuff that they were doing. I had a bunch of family members who put me onto this, who were like sending me like screenshots of all of these text messages that they were getting on a daily basis from this this pack that they at first were like, no way, why is fucking Kamala sending out shit like this? This is fucking stupid, dude. And then eventually they went and looked into it to see who it was that was sending this shit to them, and eventually found that it was just a Elon Musk pack that was pretending to be Kamala. Like that's highly illegal. Highly illegal. I don't know how the fuck they haven't gotten in trouble for that yet.
The Supreme Court removed Trump's Terror Act.
Why?
They said it was unconstitutional and that he broke the law. Because only Congress can issue tariffs, but Trump argued for a law dated back from 1977. But when the Supreme Court investigated...
This is the guy who put out the video a while ago that we've quoted a ton of times since then. He put out the video where he says, you know, why are you taking Trump literally? And I forget the terms that they used again, but they're pretty much like it is a thing that MAGA does, where like sometimes they're mad at you for taking Trump too literally, and then other times they're mad at you for not taking him seriously, and it's like this back and forth of like which one, and then yeah, he says like, you know, they kind of say both in one. Why are you taking him seriously?
They found that law said nothing about him being able to give tariffs, so he made it up.
So does that mean he broke the law?
Yes, he violated the Constitution again. But it gets even worse from here because both big businesses like Costco are suing the government for billions of dollars and they want a refund. And small businesses are lining up for a refund as well. To include the ones that were destroyed as a result of Trump's tariffs. On top of that, everyone that paid to bypass Trump's tariffs both inside and outside of America now also wants a refund too.
So what's amazing about this, I don't know if you guys have heard this yet, okay, but Howard Lutnick was one of like the big defenders of the tariffs, right? He was always out on television doing all sorts of interviews defending the tariffs across the board, saying that this is going to be great, right? Howard Lutnick's sons went and bought the tariff debt from tons of companies. Howard Lutnick's sons bought the tariff debt from all of these companies and then paid it so that now when there is a refund that is due and possibly even more on top of that for statutory damages from lawsuits, their sons, Howard Lutnick's sons, are the ones who will get the money, not those businesses. And that is a real thing. That is a very real thing. Howard Lutnick's sons bought this. Meaning that they seemed to know that this was all unconstitutional and illegal, and that this was going to get rejected by the Supreme Court at some point, and that when it was, there were going to be big payouts. And Howard Lutnick, the guy who was out here promoting the fucking tariffs the whole time and pushing them the whole time, his own family knew that they were illegal and buying up the fucking the debt. 500 IQ scheme. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that says that Lutnick was involved. But let fucking Hunter Biden do something and hear MAGA say that Joe Biden wasn't involved. Nope. Let Nancy Pelosi's husband make some money on the stock market and say that Nancy Pelosi isn't involved. Nope. Nope. Like this is how MAGA works, is all the time. Like anytime they can find the smallest connection between two different people, they immediately know for a fact that those people are involved. Unless it's Donald Trump with Epstein, then none of that counts. But with everything else, they can just find the tiniest connection. This is a whole conspiracy that they've got. But in this case, we don't really have evidence that Lennick was involved, as far as I know. But that is very suspicious.
Put us in even more debt. Yes, because while the tariffs were up, Americans paid 96% of those tariffs. So theoretically, if Americans wanted to get together and also file a civil lawsuit, that's a possibility too. But so much money is owed that no one knows how they're going to even give the refund. And now Trump's mad at the Supreme Court and is blaming them for everything, even though he's the one that violated the Constitution.
If he bankrupted 7 businesses, then why would anybody trust him with their money?
Because it's time to bankrupt America. The economy is literally the worst it's ever been in the history of America. 2026. Just like that, it got
But the Dow. But the Dow right now.
I'm still getting some of this data flowing in, Maria, but I got to start with the GDP read. This is the first reading of fourth quarter GDP. We came in at 1.4%. This is even below the range of expectations that we got for fourth quarter GDP. The expectation was 3%. We came in at 1.4%.
But the Dow.
We were just looking here in the studio at Atlanta GDP Now, which is sitting at 3%. I do want to add, though, again, as you know, this was the shutdown. We had a 43-day government shutdown in this quarter. That is certainly going to be one of the issues here. Now, let's go back to what we're seeing as with regards to the other pieces of data, Maria. Let me give you personal income. That came in at 0.3%. That is in line with expectations. Spending, 0.4%. That is consumption. That is in line with expectations. Now let me get into the PCE numbers right now. The PCE index, the actual was a gain of 0.4%. The expectation was a gain of 0.3%. Jason was just saying that that was one of the critical numbers that he was looking.
Dow Jones. Sheesh. But the Dow, guys. The Dow right now.
Looking at there in that data.
It's down 50,000.
As for the rest of it, within the PCE price index, if you strip out like food, energy, housing, you see that 2.8% number that was on target with regards to the estimates that we were getting. The personal savings rate coming in at 3.6%. And again, that core number.
Don't we remember Liberation Day? For people in my community, we all know that there is not a Liberation Day. There's 5 Liberation Days. Trump, on 5 different occasions, has named 5 different days Liberation Day. There's not one Liberation Day. Donald Trump has announced 5 different days that he has called Liberation Day. The day that he announced his tariffs, I believe, was the 3rd one. And I think there's been 2 more since then. But yes, we Liberation Week. No. Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. They are all totally different things with totally different parts of the year, totally different. Nope. It's just a bunch of different times. Even in Trump's first administration, he had 2 different days that he called Liberation Day. And I think so far in this administration, he's had 3 different days that he's named Liberation Day. He has named numerous days Liberation Day. There is not a Liberation Day. There are many Liberation Days.
Coming in 0.4%. The estimate was for a gain of 0.3%. So a little bit hotter than expected here with regards to the PCE price index. But again, with that 2.9%, that year-over-year number, that's just slightly above what we were looking for, Maria. So again, pretty in line right now with what we were expecting as far as PCE income and spending. The surprise, as I just gave to you, was that first read on fourth quarter GDP with the caveat of the shutdown, Maria.
Yeah, all very important information, Cheryl. Thank you for that analysis. And Jason, I got to get your take here because the growth is obviously a lot slower than we expected, but it's a noisy quarter because of the shutdown. And that's what the Democrats want to see, which is why we're in a partial shutdown again with the Department of Homeland Security. Your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I just find it hard, Maria. Corporate profits are up about 13%. S&P 500 companies have largely reported they're up 13% for the fourth quarter. Profit margins are hitting a new high. So I have to say I'm a little skeptical. And of course, the GDP numbers are subject to revision. And as you pointed out, it's during a shutdown, government shutdown.
Yeah.
So I have to say, if you're an investor,
But now we're talking about recession, and I asked President Trump about it this week, and he didn't say no. Here's what he told me. Watch this. Are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back
Period
to
of
them.
transition, guys. It's a period of transition. They've been screaming from the rooftops how great the economy is this entire time, the greatest economy ever. Day one, blah blah blah. Trump has the best economy. Then later on, when asked about all the bad parts of the economy versus the good parts, Trump said that all the bad parts are Biden, all the good parts are him. This has been just a constant back and forth. When there's somebody asking him questions, he has to like deal with the realities of it. Right before Christmas, he was saying, hey, you don't need $5, just $1. You just get $1. You don't need $5. Nobody needs $5. You can just get $1. That's who cares if you don't have enough money for $5? You only need one anyways. So just get one for your fucking kids for Christmas. It's not that bad. Like whenever he's like faced with a fucking person who's gonna push back on him at all, he has to actually like deal with the negative reality of his economy. But then every time there's not a person there, he's telling everybody it's the greatest economy of all time. It's the best economy ever.
America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time.
How much time is it going to take, Secretary?
Okay, the Donald Trump economy. We own the economy in the fourth quarter.
But now we're talking about recession.
Facts show otherwise. In fact, tariffs have failed to achieve virtually all of the president's stated objectives for them. Let's take a closer look. New numbers today show the U.S. economy grew at 1.4% in the fourth quarter, brought down in part by the government shutdown. GDP rose just 2.2% for all of 2025. That is the slowest pace since 2020. Tariffs, as you heard there, were supposed to raise growth significantly. The U.S. trade deficit spiked in December, and for all of 2025, imports rose to record highs. Tariffs were supposed to reduce or eliminate the U.S. trade deficit. Manufacturing employment fell by 5,000 in November to the lowest level since March 2022 and was down 7 months in a row, each month since Trump rolled out his Liberation Day tariffs. Trump, you'll remember, promised a massive reshoring of manufacturing jobs from overseas due to tariffs. And who paid for them? A new study by the New York Fed shows that U.S. consumers and businesses footed the bill, paying some 90% of the tariffs, which is exactly what many economists predicted. President Trump has insisted that foreign governments and companies would pay for his global tariffs. As for the debt, the Supreme Court ruling now throws U.S. fiscal policy into confusion. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget.
Well, and even when Trump responded to this, he kept saying, so they're saying I'm not allowed to charge other countries even $1. You're not charging other countries, bro. You're charging the American companies. The fact that you're still fucking lying to people, saying that you're charging other countries things with tariffs is so disgusting. It's so fucking gross. Like the amount of fucking brazenness for him to still just stand there and lie to everybody saying that he's charging other countries with tariffs is so fucking stupid, bro. So fucking stupid. I'm blown away that like he's able to just keep getting away with this shit. The gaslight king, yeah.
It says the ruling will increase projected budget deficits by some $2 trillion. Harder to measure is the long-term effect on U.S. trading relationships. Even many of America's closest allies, including Canada and the EU, have deliberately pursued trade deals with other nations other than the U.S. as they seek friendlier and more reliable trading partners. Joining me now is Adam Posen. He's the president of the Peterson Institute for International Economics. Good to have you, Adam. Listen, you know this better than me, but all the reasons Trump said tariffs were good, the economic numbers have shown they just haven't delivered. Is the Supreme Court decision, in your view, good news for the U.S. economy?
Jim, I want to compliment you and your team. What you just listed was all fact-based and summarized the situation very accurately, what the president claimed, what actually happened, the outcome. So
All right, the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick was at the Supreme Court to watch the discussion today and joins us now. Sir, good to have you back on. What did you see today? What do you think? How do you think they're leaning?
Well, I think they're leaning toward the president. So what happened is General Sauer, our Solicitor General, was out first, and the justices were tough. Let's say they were asking them tough questions. But when the other side got up, wow, it was very, very strong. And so I left very upbeat and very positive. And I think these justices are going to come down in favor of the president's powers because he's stopping the emergency of what's happened to trade against the United States of America. Everybody knows it. And some of those discussions were really, really interesting. And that's why it's fun to be on the show to sort of talk about exactly what some of these justices said.
All right, the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick was at the.
This is from Adam. He said Howard Lutnick went on TV to reassure the public that the Supreme Court would rule in favor of tariffs. These justices are going to come down in favor. Then his family went out and quietly bought up all the tariff refund rights for pennies. Disgusting fraud. All right, we got a little bit more to go through on the news.
We're gonna flip this state. Somebody gets the camera so Greg have it. Let me tell you why this Texas Senate seat is such a big deal. So, Tarrant County is red. It is a bright red. In District 9, that Taylor Revitt.
Wait, Democrats are going to get another Texas Senate seat? Where's Ted Cruz? Where's Ted Cruz? She has to mean House. State Senate District 9. What? Where the fuck is Ted Cruz? On vacation? Bro, I don't understand. There's two Senate seats. Oh, state Senate. Okay, you're right. State Senate. Okay, state Senate. Thank you. I was about to say, this doesn't make sense. There's no fucking district for fucking Senate seats. What is she talking about? There's no districts for Senate seats. One. Two, we only have 2 fucking Senate seats. If fucking, the, whatever his name is, the Piccoli guy or whatever his name is running versus Jasmine Crockett for 1 seat, we would assume Ted Cruz is going to keep the other seat, and we'll have 1 Democrat and 1 Republican in Texas. But if now this, then where the fuck is Ted Cruz? Where did he go? What happened? I'm so confused. But okay, state Senate. All right.
One went to Trump for 17 points in 2024. Not only did Taylor Revitt win, he won by over 14 points. Didn't even think he would win. That seat has not had a Democrat.
Is that how that works? 14 points? I thought Tallarico, yeah. I thought points were based on like above 50%. That like or the middle difference between the two, so that like he is up 7 points, she's down 8 points, Well, about 7 points. So yeah, so it'd be 7 points. I thought that he was up 7 points, right? That like for every point that he loses, she goes up 1. So it would only be 7. It would be a 7-point swing, because if he goes down 7 points, that means she goes up 7 points. So I thought that meant that he won by 7 points, not 14 points. Am I wrong? Is that not how that works?
Since the 90s. Oh my God, I'm definitely calling my bestie Greg on Monday so we can celebrate together. And this happened because people showed up to vote. There was a huge push for that. So I need you all to register to vote, especially for the primary on March 3rd. If you want to vote in the primary on March 3rd to determine what Democratic candidate is going to run against the Republican for governor, for the Senate, for the congressional district, all of that, you need to show up on March 3rd and you need to register to vote by.
All the shit is so quiet, dude. Alright, I got like 10 more videos to go through. I don't want to go through all of these, so we're just gonna hit one more and then we'll move on. He won plus 7 points. Right, that's what I'm saying. That she said he won by 14 points, which I guess technically, so it's a 14-point shift. Yeah, it's a like, but I thought that we would say he won by 7 points, not he won by 14.
By this upcoming Monday on February 2nd.
I do want to ask you about Border Patrol agents. There were Border Patrol agents who shot and killed Alex Preddy. We all watched the video. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said he was brandishing a gun and called him a domestic terrorist. Petty was not brandishing a gun, and the gun was on his hip and was taken by Border Patrol officers on video, and he was shot and killed after that. Does your agency, does the entire
Who are you
agency
supporting, Crockett or Tallarico? I have no idea. I literally don't even know. I don't know shit about the Tallarico guy. I do think it's kind of unfortunate that Jasmine Crockett is being challenged by Tallarico at this point, because like that was supposed to be like her whole thing was going to take a seat from the Republicans for Democrats, but Tallarico is a better shot. Both of them are fucking murdering each other. Like, both of them are murdering it right now. Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett are the two favorites. So it doesn't, it's not that great to say like he has a better chance. Both of them are the top two candidates, like by far. By far. There's the Republican side of the race right now, there's like 3 candidates that are at like 20% each. For that race, like they have a very tight race of a bunch of unknown people who none of them are polling above like 20%. And then on the Democrat side, there's just Jasmine and Tallarico. Third place is polling at like 1%. So this just seems sad. Like it just seems sad. Like Crockett giving up a seat in the House to move to the Senate, but then it's like a sure thing at the time. But then Tallarico comes out of nowhere and is now running against her to where the two of them are the top 2 candidates by far, and you only needed one of them to flip it blue, and now she might lose the Senate seat and now she'll have lost her seat in the House as well. Yeah, it just seems kind of sad.
have a lying problem?
Well, look, I'm not going to comment on the investigation itself. I'd say.
Yeah, she asked if Kristi Noem and the DHS have a lying problem after what happened with the Alex Preddy situation.
I'm not going to comment on the investigation itself. I'd said from day one in any of these shootings that I will not comment on them until the investigation is finished by the FBI, Internal Affairs. That's the way it should be. We shouldn't prejudge it. And look, I don't know what information the secretary had when she made those statements. I can tell you I didn't make those statements. I would never, I don't want to influence the investigation. I have an opinion, but I won't share my opinion because I want a thorough investigation. And if people violated the law, if people violated policy, again, they need to be held accountable.
Including Greg Bavino, do you know if there is a investigation into his lying in a deposition, according to a judge?
Well, that'd be a question for the secretary. I don't know.
Do you think there should?
Yeah, this is the thing that I said before when I said they're replacing Nome with Homan. I kept saying this is like a good move. This is a smart move. This is like much better because Chrissy Nome is very like, you know, she speaks off the cuff. She just says crazy shit. She's very aggressive. She's very hyperbolic. She keeps coming out with statements about scenarios before there's been an investigation. Like, Homan is not that person. He is not the person who comes out and just like says insane shit. He is much more politically minded. He's much smarter about the way he says things. He's much more put together than Chrissy Nome is. Chrissy Nome is like, you know, the MAGA like Trump administration sort of person that just comes out and says wild shit without thinking about it, whereas Homan is not. Homan is like a bit more, he's a bit smarter about how he does shit. And so this, where they say like, well, how do you feel about the way that Chrissy Nome talked about it? He's like, well, I'm not going to talk about an investigation. They're in the middle of an investigation. I don't want that to be tampered with by me coming out and making statements about this. I don't know what information Chrissy Nome had at the time, so it's possible that she had information that led her to that conclusion. I'm not going to say what my opinion is on this, so I'm going to wait and we'll see. But yeah, that's why I said he is a lot smarter in the way that he talks about this shit. How the hell is this slobbering idiot more professional than Kristen? I literally just went over it. What do you mean? I literally just showed you how. Like, just now showing you the clip of him saying this. Like, this is how he deals with things. He is much more professional and much smarter in how he deals with shit. I'm gonna have to take your word for it because I can't understand half the words he says. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Don't get me wrong. He's a fucking idiot. He's obviously a Trump loyalist. But there is a spectrum of Trump loyalists and idiocy, right? So even somebody like Ted Cruz is a Trump loyalist and still a million times smarter than any of the fucking MAGA people. This is why there's like differences in like Republican and MAGA. Like, there's differences here. And the like Republicans have always been, you know, kind of they've always been stupid, they've always been evil, they've always been all these things, but they're not MAGA. Whereas MAGA can come out and claim that they're eating your cats and dogs with no evidence and no reasoning behind it, just throwing out any stupid and fucking salacious claims whenever they feel like it. Whereas like there's other people who are still going to push the same message and the same narrative in a much more delicate way and in a much more like in a much smarter way than somebody like Trump would. So these are differences. Wasn't he still under for the money he took promise? No, the DOJ fucking cleared him of it. Obviously, they didn't even. There's no fucking way they investigated it. There's literally no fucking shot they investigated it. But yeah, they cleared him. It's fucking blatant corruption. And I bet his dogs are bullet hole free. Bruh. She's fucking crazy, dude. She's fucking crazy. She is fucking insane. She is a nutbag. Like, she really she does the dumbest fucking shit all the fucking time. The dumbest fucking shit all the time. It is ridiculous. It is truly ridiculous. I thought I had a whole video on her, but I can't find it now. But there was a whole video that I had on her that was about the fact that she yeah, I don't have it. So what she's done is she has gone that, like, a lot of times there's been people who have covered the fact that when she's out and about and walking around at like different sites, that she has a camera crew following her. And while she's doing this, and she has a camera crew following her, she is like having like videos made for her social media accounts. And there's been numerous people who have come forward and said, like, dude, she had her officers come and arrest me and another guy, put us in cuffs, and then she went and like kept walking back and forth in front of us with the cameras here so that they could show us being arrested and like zip tied behind her as she's just strutting in front of us, but that she wasn't actually going anywhere or doing anything. She just kept walking back and forth so they could get the right shot of us being zip tied behind her. And then they've used these shots of us being arrested numerous times in like propaganda that she's putting out on her channel for like, we're not going to let these terrorists get away with this and stop us from doing our jobs and blah, blah, blah. But they're like, we didn't even get arrested. We literally didn't even get arrested. They just zip tied us, detained us for like 20 minutes, and then let us go. We didn't get arrested for anything. We never had any charges filed. We never had any convictions, nothing. They just zip tied us for her video and then let us go. And now they keep using these clips of us being zip tied and saying like, we're going to arrest these people if they try to get in our way and blah, blah, blah. And they keep showing our faces and everything. And we didn't do anything. They can't sue for damages. I would think they could. I would think they could, yes. I would think they could, especially when they keep using it for the production of media where they're making it look as though they've been like convicted of some sort of crime. Yeah, I would think that they should be able to sue. You'd think so. But all right, if you guys are watching on vertical, head over to the regular stream. We're going to cut off the vertical stream here and move to covering the lib versus leftist war that's been happening. Apparently Destiny and Pisco are getting into it right now, so we're probably going to cover that in a bit as well. But there were a number of things over the last couple of days that occurred that we want to cover first. So we're going to get into that stuff. Then we'll get into Destiny versus Pisco, I suppose. But yeah, we're going to end the vertical stream. So if you want to finish watching, go to the channel and come over to this stream right here. This is the one that's going to continue, where we will continue talking about the lib leftist war. So head over there. Outside of that, I'll be back on tomorrow, hopefully. Till then, appreciate you. Love you. Bye. All right. So what's getting